100.9 The Mint, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that. Hello, and welcome into the show, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Oh, would you look at that? It's Big Win Wednesday, and we got one of our best prizes of the summer to give away at 10:15. It's going to be Detroit Tigers versus Los Angeles Dodgers tickets. The promos we have been running are for Saturday's game because we thought Tarek Skubal is going to be pitching Saturday. That has been since moved up to Friday, so we are going to be giving away Friday night's tickets to Comerica Park, where Skubal should be pitching, unless, unless it's too much for him. Could be. Speaking of the Tigers, they're back. They won yesterday, Kyle. Look at that. Back in the win column. Rubber match today at 1 o'clock. Jackson Jobe looked all right in his fourth start. Max Clark hit a home run. Lefty. They're so back. They're alive. I'm just kidding. They're still mostly dead. Yesterday was we keep saying they're in a coma. We've said that the last couple days. And yesterday was like, it's no different. They're still in a coma, but they flinched. Or they went like, And everybody looking around was like, oh my God. He showed signs he's going to wake up. No, probably not.
Get the doctor in here.
Come here, Doc. We just saw him shake. And the doctor.
Wait, Kenley Jansen actually had a clean inning.
Career save
changing.
Career save 493 for him. Yeah, I don't know, man. I still think they're mostly dead. If they win the series today, maybe they shake twice, and it's like, oh, maybe he is gonna wake. They are gonna wake up.
Like an eyelid moved.
Yeah. And then the Dodgers are probably gonna come like whip us around like ragdolls, and they'll go back to being dead. I still have very little faith that they can get themselves back into it. It was nice to see them pick up a win yesterday, though, and end the 6-game losing streak. Maybe we'll get to the Tigers a little bit later on. We certainly will talk about that game that we're giving away tickets to at 10:15, thanks to our friends over at Garber Chevrolet, who sponsor Big Win Wednesday. But this Lions team, I had some dark thoughts going through my head yesterday, Kyle, and I wanted to share these with you. I haven't shared them with you yet. I've been pretty optimistic and bullish as to what this Lions season is going to become, mostly built around the strength of schedule, which is the easiest in the NFL. We have seen this happen just in the last year. Team with the easiest schedule, New England Patriots, they end up walking their way all the way to a Super Bowl before they really get a reality check. So I went through the last few years and preseason entering the year, looked at the teams with the easiest strength of schedule. So last year was the Patriots. In 2024 and 23, it was oddly the Saints and the Falcons. Like, they were a tie each of those seasons. I don't know how you have the easiest schedule in the NFL back-to-back seasons, and the fact that it was the same two teams tied for the easiest back-to-back seasons, neither of which made the playoffs. So just chalk it up to a weird NFC South division. 2022, it was the Cowboys and the Commanders tied for the easiest schedule. The Cowboys went on to make the playoffs and win a game. And then 2021, it was Philadelphia who made the playoffs. So there is a pretty good amount of evidence that if you have the easiest schedule in the NFL heading into the season, preseason, obviously things change, you're more than likely going to have a successful year as long as you're not one of the dog crap teams in the NFL the way that some of these NFC South teams were. So you look at the schedule. I've readjusted it. I have them going 13-4 now. Let's put that aside for just a second. I started to think about each position group individually. And I asked myself a really simple question as I was laying in bed last night. Is this team better than they were last year? Again, put the schedule aside. I think their record is without a doubt going to be better. But is this team actually better right now, week 1, versus what they were week 1 last year? Let's go position group by position group. The safeties, that's without a doubt worse. No Brian Branch, no Kirby Joseph to start the year. The offensive line, kind of skipping around a little bit, but I don't really know if I can say with confidence that it's better. I mean, it should be if they're healthy, but right now they're not, and their biggest free agent acquisition, Cade Mays, is hurt. Juice Scruggs is your starting center. You've got a rookie right tackle who looks good in preseason, but it's preseason. So I'll just throw that up as even, not an upgrade, which is problematic, since it was very problematic last season, although last year they were fine against bad defenses, and they play a good amount of bad defenses to open up the year. But I'll wash that up as chalk. The weapons, slight upgrade, marginal, just because you're getting the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs a little bit more. J-Mo hopefully has another step to take. Same thing with Goff. I've made the case I think Goff's going to be better every year of his career up until his late 30s, the way that Stafford has kind of had that arc. Corners, I would say, you can make the debate either way. I would say that's neutral. You lost Terrion Arnold. Hard to say the room has gotten better, although DJ Reed probably looking to bounce back after the hamstring injury last year, kind of derailed his entire season, so let's call that chalk as well. The linebackers, without a doubt, a downgrade. You lose Alex Anzalone and you replace him with Devin White. Defensive line, that's the only spot I can point to and be like, okay, they significantly upgraded here. This defensive line is way better than they were last year. I can say that with confidence. But every other group, they either downgraded or it's kind of neutral. So I went through and tallied and gave each position group a score. The range was -3 to +3 in terms of year to year, what did you do? For offensive line, at least to start the year, with no Cade Mays, I gave him a 0. With the weapons, I gave him a 1. Quarterback, I gave a 0. Cornerback, I gave a 0. Safeties, I gave a -3. Linebackers, I gave a -3. Defensive line, I gave a +2. Ends up being a wash. Completely evens out. So with the injuries that they are dealing with right now, is this team actually better than they were a year ago, or am I just simply bullish on them because of the schedule and the Jahmyr Gibbs hype? I told you, these were dark thoughts as I was laying in my bed last night. I didn't like them. I wanted to shut my brain off, but this is all I kept thinking about. This is what Ben Bosscher thinks about as he's going to bed. Most people are, dreaming happy things, and what? Are the Lions actually better than they are last year, or is it just the schedule? That's what I was thinking about, and now I bring it to you and ask you the question that I couldn't stop thinking about last night.
Man, so you didn't want to talk about the Tigers because it's been all negative, and you just want to go negative on the Lions now.
I don't even know if I'm spinning this as negative as much as it is. Let's talk this thing out. Because, again, the schedule is what it is, and I do think they're going to make the playoffs and achieve their over-under in 10.5. Again, I readjusted. With all of these thoughts, I went through the schedule yet again and somehow still had them 13-4. I'm like, okay, this is insane.
Then your answer is probably yes, right? Now, going into last year, we also thought the Lions were going to go 13-4 again, right? We had those same expectations.
Yeah, I think I had them 12-5, something going into that.
With a way harder schedule.
It was the hardest schedule in the NFL going into the season.
Your scale on, by the way, not just a 0 to 6, dips into the negatives. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, kind of interesting.
Well, if you downgrade it, I feel like a 0 doesn't make sense. 0 would be neutral.
You think their offensive line is a neutral? You think it's a 0 based off of what happened last year, and you say I don't really know if it's better than last year
for the first 4 weeks of the season?
Certainly, last year it was a negative.
Well, I'm simply just based on the difference. Okay, think about last year. Are they better or worse? If they're the exact same, 0 is the score I gave out. I gave a 0. I think in theory it's like a +1 or +2, but without Cade Mays, I don't know. I'm not going to say it's a plus anything without Cade Mays right now.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly can't say it's a plus anything right now. The only change that you could have any hope for is Blake Miller, who's a rookie we haven't seen. So you can't really give them a plus in that category.
And the beat reporters that have been there, I don't know, they haven't had a ton of awesome things to say about the offensive line and the way that it's gelling together right now. Not to sound the alarms and panic about it, but it's not something offensive line is one of those things that takes a long time to gel and develop chemistry with. And the fact that they don't have that going into the season, and then they don't have their starting center, and then they're going to have to insert that starting center who's never played games with any of these guys after 5 or so weeks, I don't love that. That's something working against the Lions.
Because a lot of those beat reporters have seen what an elite offensive line looks like.
True.
And now seeing this group that clearly just isn't that, you're going to have a lot of those negative thoughts. I don't think that I respect that you are finally seeing some other sides of the Lions' outlook for their season this year. You were 100% pro positive. Oh, I'm bullish on this group. I love this group. I love that group. Okay, do you think they're going to go 17-0 then? Because it's just been I love everything about this team. Well, if you love everything, then they might never lose. So I think it's nice that you're realizing some other potential negatives about this Lions team and how the season could go wrong. But I think the very first thing you brought up is the reason why they are just better than last year. Does it matter because of the schedule? Does it matter if they're better than they were last year? Because the schedule is just way easier.
Yeah, the New England Patriots from last year would tell you it actually doesn't matter. You can go the whole season without really being challenged. And they will be challenged in division games.
And that's saying, the Patriots this year, I think a lot of Pats fans would tell you their team is better this year than last year. Are they going to be better record-wise?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
Because that's just how the schedule works.
Go all the way to a 2 seed last year with the easiest schedule in the league. You go all the way to a Super Bowl before you finally hit a stone wall and get kind of blitzed out in a Super Bowl. Not literally. Seattle didn't blitz all that much, but you got stonewalled once you ran into one of the best teams. And the Lions, unlike the Patriots from last year, they will have a legitimate test at many points throughout the year. I think every division game will be a legitimate test, unlike the Patriots from last season, who had 2 games against Buffalo.
They had 2 tests all year. They played Buffalo twice.
Yeah. The Lions have the Bills, 6 division games. Tampa, kinda. It's a big game. And then New England on the road, or New England in Germany is a test of its own, kind of like a mental toughness test. I don't know if that's a Super Bowl contender necessarily that you're stacking yourself up against. We'll see. There are different checkpoints, though, throughout the Lions season. I'm just sitting here wondering, okay, schedule aside, is this team actually better than they were last year? And right now, heading into the season with the injuries that have riddled this team already, both safeties out, which, by the way, now some of the reserve safeties are getting hurt.
About to be you and me starting at safety.
Yeah, basically. Luckily, Laporta's back, but Cade May's hurt as well. I don't actually know if they're better than they were because they're certainly worse on this in the secondary, unless you're like super bullish on DJ Reed. I guess I'm just kind of waiting and being patient with that. I want to see what it looks like first. Please stop doing backflips in preseason. I think it's a total downgrade in the linebacker department. Offensive line seems like a neutral spot for now. I don't know, man. Luckily, their schedule's pretty easy the first 5 weeks of the season, but you want to know one of the things I adjusted when I went through it again this morning? I have them losing to Carolina Sunday night. I think that's going to be one of their losses right now.
Because of the jerseys.
Yeah,
it's because we tried to steal their jersey.
Because Cade Mays is going to walk into the wrong locker room and accidentally reveal the game plan to Carolina. No, I mean, that's just a team that has good interior defensive linemen and Derek Brown. They've got a couple, like Jalen Phillips has joined that team too. So, like, they've got a nice defensive line, and their defense was pretty frisky last season. Sunday night game, the Lions have fared well on primetime, but I flipped that game to a loss just because without Cade Mays, I feel like I know my initial reaction was it's not going to make a difference, but the more I started looking at the Carolina game, it's like, actually, this team's not just a pushover team, as we saw from last season. So I switched that game from a loss. I think I might have switched a couple other things too, but I ultimately had them coming out at 13-4 because their back half of their schedule is kind of laughable. Really, every point of their schedule is kind of laughable. I also have them losing to Chicago on Thanksgiving, which I know you hate it. You hate it.
On.
I have them splitting with every division team. So I have their 4 losses are each a division team, and then the Buffalo Bills. And
well, that's 5 losses.
That is 5 losses. 1, 2,
One
3,
of the division
4.
teams, you must have them sweeping.
Oh, yeah, Green Bay.
Of course.
989-837-6125. Do you believe that this Lions team is better than they were last season? Schedule aside, do you believe that this is a better roster, a better football team than it was from a year ago today, heading into week 1? 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Myth. The show, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, the experts who do the job right the first time. Whether you have a leaky roof, storm damage, siding looking a little tired, Bresky has you covered. Locally owned, trusted, and dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair today and keep your home strong for years to come. The 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Iron Stack Technology. You know, we talk about the game plan all the time on the show, the execution of it. That's how Iron Stack approaches IT. They help businesses stay secure, efficient, and ready for what's next so you can focus on your mission instead of your technology. Iron Stack Technology, solution-driven, mission-focused. You can check them out online at ironstacktechnology.com.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Myth. on 100.9 The Mid.
Yes, I heard the promo play during that break. Yes, I heard it say Saturday. That is when we thought Tarek Skubal was going to be starting. We are giving away tickets to Friday's Tigers game now against the Dodgers because that is, as of right now, the game that Tarek Skubal is going to be pitching in against his former team. Unless it's just too much for him, Kyle. It might just be too much.
What do you mean by that?
Look, we asked the question to open up the show. Is this Lions team better or worse than they were a year ago today heading into week 1? We'll go to the Mint messages here, 989-837-6125. Got a text that says, no way that they have 13 wins. 11-6 at best. Mays, Branch, Joseph, Laporta all missing significant time. Hold on. Laporta's back at practice. Laporta's healthy, but I will give you Branch, Joseph, and Cade Mays all missing time. 3 starters to open up the season. Do you remember how nasty the secondary got? And I don't mean nasty in a good way. Those last
how can I forget?
7 weeks of the season.
How about every year?
Yeah. Last year I think was the epitome of it, where it was like everyone was so upset with the corners and DJ Reed. It was like, oh, how are these guys wide open? Because they have to give 12 yards of cushion because they don't trust the safeties to not get beat deep.
Yeah, the Legion of Whom was cool until it wasn't.
Correct. Once Branch and Joseph went down for good, it felt like they were just don't let anything behind you. That's the only goal for the corners because we don't trust the safeties to do their job. That might be mostly the same to open up this season without Branch and Joseph. So, that part of it makes me a little bit concerned. No Cade Mays obviously makes me concerned. I'm glad Laporta's back. That was a little scary to open up the season. But, yeah, you want to know what I think this really is going to come down to for the first few weeks of the season specifically, and whether or not this team is better or worse? It's the coaching. Is the coaching is Calvin Shepard going to take a step up as a defensive coordinator to where we notice things? Do you remember Aaron Glenn's second to last game, week 18 against Minnesota? We sealed the deal. That game got him a job as the Jets head coach because of how dominant they were against Kevin O'Connell and that Sam Darnold team that had only lost 2 games all season. Sam Darnold looked lost in the red zone. Every single time they got there, they stonewalled that team and forced them into 3 points. Those are 4-point plays, 7 versus 3. And a lot of times they had to go for it on 4th down because they were losing by so much, and guess what? They didn't come up with anything. Defense looked stellar. We saw the evolution of Aaron Glenn for as much flaws as he had, and we saw him have performances like that ended up getting him his job. Can we see more of those type of games for Calvin Shepard, or is it going to be more of the same of we're just kind of undermanned in the secondary, so that's just the way it's going to have to be? Or are we going to see more games like Tampa Bay last year, the Legion of Whom game, more games like Baltimore where they bottled up Lamar Jackson? Because if we can see more of those games and start to have a better feeling on Calvin Shepard, that's when I can start to say, you know what, this actually is an upgraded team than it was last season because the coaching is better. That's Calvin Shepard's side of things. Obviously, they're going to need Drew Petzing to be a better version of John Morton, and hopefully Dan Campbell doesn't have to resort to becoming the play caller because that takes away from his ability to lead, be the CEO head coach that he has built this thing in operation to be. Don't take him away from that, Drew, Mr. Petzing. That's what I think this ultimately could come down to, whether or not they're upgraded or not. Is the coaching better?
Yes. Sounding strictly like the coordinators themselves.
Correct.
I don't think that Dan Campbell himself has to be, we're putting the flag on him of he has to be better for the Lions to be better. I think we all expect, Dan Campbell to be the same guy he always has been.
The only thing that I would say let's get better at with Dan Campbell is challenges. I still feel like he needs to go to just clock management camp.
You see that the head coach doesn't have to throw the challenge flag anymore?
I did see that.
New rule. I sure think Dan will still be the guy for it, though.
I think he needs to go to clock management camp, whether that's challenges, use of timeouts at the end of halves.
So Madden. He just has to play Madden.
Yeah. Give yeah. Have a 9-year-old next to you just the entire game. And I swear to God, some of these 9-year-olds who are good at Madden would be better at it than some of the NFL coaches. It's not just Dan Campbell.
The best take we've ever come up with on this show is NFL teams should just hire the best Madden players in the world and just be the clock management guys on their staff.
Yeah, it's truly mind-blowing how dumb some... And I don't think Dan Campbell's this level dumb. There are some dumb coaches.
Matt Eberflus a couple years ago.
Correct.
Just call a timeout.
That's one thing Dan Campbell can be better at. And then... Look, I'm always down for the 4th down aggression. I think that's really changed the way that every NFL team views things, and I think that stems from Dan Campbell. And it doesn't stem from dumb analytics that say, "Oh, well, this is what we should do. This is what we shouldn't do." It comes from Dan Campbell saying, "We're gonna get this effing fourth down because we believe in our team." And it was very simple for a while, and then Frank Ragnow retired, and then Taylor Decker's shoulder fell off, and it's just a little bit different. I'm not saying scale.
He can't shy away from that, though.
No, I'm not saying scale back on the fourth down, but like you got to be able to do your risk analysis a little bit more this year, especially early on when you don't trust your offensive line as much, because these 4th and 1s aren't as automatic as they used to be 2 years ago when you had Frank Ragnow. That's the only thing I'd throw out with Dan Campbell, what he needs to be better at, when to go for it on 4th and when to not. You got to make sure you got to play. Don't just go for it just because. Make sure you have a play that you believe in.
But I also do think that, we always say, oh, well, Dan Campbell, he doesn't care about the analytics. He's going to go for it because he believes in his guys. I feel like that's just kind of false. The analytics nowadays all back going for it on 4th down. Like, for the most part, obviously it's all on a scenario-by-scenario basis, but most of the time, when you're watching Thursday Night Football, Amazon Prime pops up should they go for it based off of the Amazon data analysis predictor. Yeah, they should. Like, most of the time it says they should. So it's all about maximizing your possessions, obviously, and get whether or not your defense can get a stop. If you don't get it, blah, blah, blah.
But I don't think Dan Campbell is going for it on 4th down specifically because the analytics tell him to. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, that's not
Agreed.
that's not the backbone of his reason. Whereas I think a lot of other coaches have kind of adopted that mentality.
When Taylor Decker, got the flag against the Dallas Cowboys and they get moved back to like the 13-yard line and they just still went for it on 4th down. Or like the 7-yard line, I think it was.
Yeah, maybe should have just went for the tie game.
That was him just being like, no, we're still going for it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need to do all of that.
Exactly. Just be a little bit more cautious about that. Understand your personnel. I think that's the number one thing Dan Campbell can do in terms of like those type of decisions.
Yeah.
But I do think like whether or not this roster is better, whether or not this team is better, again, the schedule is what it is. I think they're going to win more games than they did last year. That much is obvious to me with the number one strength of schedule or 32nd strength of schedule, depending on how you look at it, heading into the season. Are they actually a better team? Honestly, until Brian Branch and Cade Mays come back, and maybe Kirby Joseph as well, I think the answer is no. I don't think they're worse.
At least to start the season.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what Noah's saying as well. He says, I don't think the team overall is better than last season because they are starting the year without Kirby and Brian Branch and basically no other DBs. At least last season they started with those pieces.
Yeah, I don't think they're worse. I don't think they're all that much better. The schedule is what it is, and that's the reason I think they're going to win more games.
And at least the schedule is at its easiest to open the year as well.
For sure, with the exception of the Buffalo game.
Of course.
Whether or not they actually can put that on paper, I think does come down to the coaching. Like, this is arguably the most important year of coaching from Dan Campbell and the rest of the staff since Dan Campbell has been hired. We know what this team is. They're not adding a ton of new players in free agency on a year-to-year basis anymore, and the one guy that they did add is already hurt.
Yeah, and we also don't want to turn into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where we just have a new play caller every year.
Or the
Philadelphia
Eagles.
Eagles.
Yeah.
Like, it would be nice to not have that. But honestly, you run into the other situation like the Bucs did, where your OC is so good that you can't keep him around,
Well,
but I don't think Drew Petzing has head coaching vibes personally.
That's the downside of having a non-play calling coach, though. Like that's Ben Johnson. You don't have to worry about your offense coordinator leaving, and if he does,
Kevin
it's
O'Connell.
not as big of an impact. Yeah, Matt LaFleur, Kevin O'Connell. Do I wish Dan Campbell called plays at times? Yeah, I think just like outright say no to that is a little bit naive. But Dan Campbell excels at leading, at being the CEO, so I'm okay with it. But it also comes with the risk of you're losing offensive coordinators left and right if they do well. But I'm kind of with you. I don't think there's anything Drew Petzing could do this season specifically.
He also just doesn't feel like a head coach. Yeah, no. But even that, like, I don't think he could have the most crazy offensive season and be like, oh, Drew Petzing, coach. Well, maybe, I don't know.
Either way, like when
the Lions are the best offense in the league. I mean, that's kind of what a trend would point to, right?
Yeah,
we need a new offensive head coach.
How many jobs are realistically going to be open this year? Because typically,
with the amount of new jobs already.
Yeah, typically with a year after this offseason, where, what was it? It was either 10 or 11 new head coaches got hired.
I think it might have been like 13. No, I don't think it was that many, but
crazy enough.
Ridiculous.
Typically, the following offseason, there's very minimal coach
you would think.
head openings.
But also, there is just a couple lame duck coaches right now.
What, Aaron Glenn, Todd Monken, yeah.
I'm saying just the guys that got hired just to be fired.
Dude, Todd Monken might have passed Aaron Glenn for, like, first coach fired.
Yeah, especially if
after this
Deshaun really stinks. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like he's the one that employed Deshaun Watson and put him on the roster. But
He's the one that made the decision to start him.
Yeah, pretty bad. So 13-4 though for the Lions, huh?
Yeah, and every time I do that, I'm like, it feels so steep.
Run through it for me.
I have a win in New Orleans. I have a loss in Buffalo, a win in against New York Jets, loss against Carolina, win against Arizona.
Pause
Okay.
for the bye. So you were in the camp originally that if you're not 5-1 at the bye or 4-1 at the bye, whatever it is, it's a fail.
Yeah.
That obviously changes now since you have 2 losses.
Yeah, you got to go 4-2. That's all it is.
Oh, okay, got it.
Coming out of the bye, I got a win against Green Bay, FTP. I got a loss against Minnesota. I'm starting to really believe in everything you're speaking about.
I'm so all in on Minnesota,
Yeah,
man.
Minnesota.
I hate that I am, but I'm so all in.
A win against Miami, who I'm starting to be convinced might not win a game this year. Did you see the report that their practice was so bad that Malik Willis had to stop, talk to the offense, and then they continued practice, and it still was so bad that they just ended practice early?
I couldn't name you a player on their offense outside of Malik Willis and Devon Achane. Couldn't name you one of them.
You know what?
That's not a
Jalen
good sign.
Tolbert, fantasy
I
stock?
thought he got hurt.
Maybe he did. Isn't Malik Washington on this team too? We're just naming guys. Just naming guys to
I
name
thought
them.
Malik Washington was a quarterback in college.
Maybe he is. New England I have as a win over in Germany. Tampa I have coming back as a win. I looked this up. Teams are 11-6 straight up coming back from Germany games. Or not Germany games, but Europe games.
I was going to say just Germany. It seems a little
way better than I would have thought. That's when you played
1 second, yeah.
3 games in, 10 days? Something like that, 11 days, because you got Chicago on Thanksgiving to follow that up, so I have that as a loss. I have Atlanta win, Minnesota win, New York win, Chicago win, and Green Bay win and finish at 13-4.
Winning the final 2 games of the year, Chicago, Green Bay, you have, that would be...
It's tough.
I mean, that would be the best. Going into the playoffs, winning those back-to-back games, it's going to be very hard to tell me they're not winning the Super Bowl if
I know.
they do that.
But think about it like this, too. The last couple of years, the Lions have started healthy and ended up diminished by the end of the season. Right now, they're starting, hopefully as hurt as they are, with Brian Branch and Cade Mays out. And by the time...
Does that mean you think they're going to be healthy at the end of the year? To me, that screams even worse. It's if they're already not injured or not healthy...
Perhaps going into that final stretch, the offensive line starts to click. That would make the most sense. You've got the most games under your belt. You got Brian Branch, who should be getting better on a week-to-week basis. I do think that this team, it does make sense why they would be peaking at the end of the year, simply based on the offensive line. Cade Mays comes back and
exactly.
Get 10 games under your belt with
Branch,
these guys.
Hopefully.
Right.
Kirby, I don't even know.
Timeout.
But Branch, at least.
I'm calling a timeout. Where's Kirby Joseph? He hasn't been at practice, and not only has he not been practicing, he has not been in Allen Park in about 2 weeks. Where's Kirby Joseph? What's going on? What is this personal matter that Dan Campbell has referenced multiple times that has just allowed Kirby Joseph to not be in Allen Park for the last 2 weeks? What's going on with that? Anybody have an answer?
Time back in or no?
Sure. But where the F is this guy?
I'm checking his IG. Guy that posts a lot chronically online. Yeah, he's got stuff on his Instagram story.
What?
It's just a lot of inspirational stuff.
Where is he?
I don't know.
Usually you don't just excuse players from being away from camp for a week and a half.
The thing on his Instagram story right now is every day I wake up, it's somebody new hating on me, and all I do is pray. Go check my account.
What account?
The one I'm looking at, I guess.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's a good question. What's a better Where's Waldo? Kirby Joseph or Justin Verlander?
No, at least we see Justin Verlander's face in the dugout.
At least they make fun of him for
clue where Kirby is.
Last thing on this, during the Tigers broadcast, they were doing the weird texting thing popping up on the screen. They had one that said why don't we get Justin Verlander on this text chain? We all know he's just sitting there watching the game anyways.
They put that on the broadcast?
It was on the broad. It was a Brandon Inge text. But I was like, that's kind of crazy. They put that on there.
They should get Justin Verlander in the booth one of these days. Make him useful in some way.
Yeah. More useful than Kirby Joseph right now, though.
At least he's there cheering on his team.
Yeah.
Where is Kirby Joseph?
Tampa is the trap game, is what Fury says. Yeah, that's the one that's wedged between.
It's Tampa off a bye. They never win that game.
Tampa's after the New England game? I keep getting that mixed up.
It's
that's
New England,
what
you come home and play Tampa.
And then you have Thanksgiving the following week. That's what it is.
Yeah, like 4 days later.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous
brutal
stretch.
It's a brutal stretch. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt. Do you think the Lions are better than they were a year ago? Man, we should have went to break like 8 minutes ago. That's okay. We were cruising. We'll come back, hit the news. Got some college stuff to get to because, hey, look at that. The Big Ten and SEC coming together, making a good decision. NCAA could never. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Locally owned, proudly family operated. That's Ace Hardware. Downtown Midland, it's your go-to spot as we are now at the end of summer. Stop in on East Main Street in the heart of downtown Midland. That is Ace Hardware, helping you get ready for the season ahead while supporting your community.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, 989-837-6125. Let's go quick, like 5-minute version of the news, Kyle. Let's do that.
The Mitt's Morning Catch.
Whatever you say, Ben. Time for the news. Covenant Healthcare Orthopedics and Sports Medicine injury report. You mentioned it earlier, but Sam Laporta back at practice yesterday for the Lions. Big time news there. Of course, the initial reporting with that hip injury was they are unaware of his status for week 1. Well, this has got to be a pretty good sign for that status, him returning to practice with 2 weeks until that game.
Yeah, thank God, man. We were kind of worried about that last Friday when we found out that he had the hip injury. They were going to take him out of practice. It wasn't even like sidelined for a whole week, so pretty good sign there.
Yeah.
I would say more than likely going to be playing week 1 if he's already back practicing.
Another guy that was at the Lions practice yesterday.
Not Kirby Joseph.
No, that's true. It wasn't Kirby Joseph. Kareem Hunt visited the Lions yesterday. Man, this guy is doing anything possible to keep Isaiah Pacheco out of relevancy, huh? The last 2 years he did it for the Chiefs, just showing up in the middle of the season. Of course, this is probably under the fact that the Lions don't even really have another running back outside of Jahmyr Gibbs and Isaiah Pacheco that is healthy at the moment. So Kareem Hunt was visiting the Lions yesterday. I don't know. This would be kind of odd if they brought him in. They've always avoided the guys that have had off-the-field problems. Kareem Hunt is towards the top of the list of that.
Yeah, he kicked a 19-year-old in the face.
Yeah, it's on video, too. So that would be kind of unfortunate. 19-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, worth noting that part. So, yeah, we'll see if that
probably
happens.
just good on this.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens.
Probably just good on Kareem Hunt joining the Lions.
But, like,
you know who's number one person who doesn't want him to join, though?
Isaiah Pacheco.
Well, him and anyone who owns Jahmyr Gibbs in a fantasy league, because this guy's like just the notorious comes in and steals 6
touchdowns.
points.
Yeah, he is a good goal line back still. So
he's a thief.
He is a thief. So, nonetheless, though, I think this is good news that the Lions are at least, okay, we do need to bring another running back. Like, happy they're recognizing that because
they
this
didn't
running back
sign him
room
yet.
is... Well, yeah, but just the fact that they've brought him in, you know? Like, they clearly are looking to sign another running back, I would assume.
Yeah, hopefully Pacheco's, like, good, because he's been out for a couple of weeks now.
I know.
And they said at the beginning that they weren't concerned about him missing week 1. He hasn't practiced in a minute. And Sione Vaki's made of glass, so... I don't like the beyond the first 2 guys. I don't really know how this thing's going to shake out. They've got Jabari Small, who's hurt. They've got Jacob Sailors, who's also hurt, and Sione Vaki, who is second he gets healthy, will just have some other freak injury. It's just kind of how his career has gone.
Okay, more stuff in the news. Tigers, we haven't really talked about it much yet. They get the win yesterday behind Jackson Jobe with a nice bounce back outing, and Max Clark with the game-winning go-ahead home run in the 5th inning. The Tigers never looked back. Bullpen was pretty good as well. Kenley Jansen closes the door. He's now, 7 saves away from 500?
He's at 493, so he would need 494, 495, 496, 497, 498, 499, 500. Yeah, 7.
Yep, that's what I said. So game 3 of that series today is at 1:10. Troy Melton versus Freddie Peralta, who was acquired by the Rays at the trade deadline. Pretty good pitching matchup today, and this is a big game. I mean, if the Tigers win this one, then wait, they might be.
Nope, don't say it.
Don't
say what do they have to do to be back on Monday?
I don't even. Can I ignore that question? How many times have we asked that question?
Too many.
What do they got to do to be? I don't know. Win every game? I don't know. They're 4.5 games back still in the wild card because Cleveland won again. They have won 6 in a row. So they are back above 500. For the first time in a while, that final wild card spot belongs to a team that is above 500. Texas, Minnesota, and Toronto all losing, with Baltimore and Seattle both winning. So Seattle is just like right back in the mix of this thing too, despite their horrible losses the last couple weeks. We'll do one more thing here in the news, and then we'll save the rest for later. Actually, I guess we're going to talk about this college football stuff soon, so we'll just do that next.
All right. Yes, the Big Ten and SEC making logical college football decisions. Who would have thought? NCAA? Not them. Not them. I'll tell you why it's logical and what they did when we return. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. If you're looking for something fun to do right here in mid-Michigan, go Great Lakes has you covered. From festivals, live music, outdoor adventure, great food, family-friendly events, GoGreatLakesBay.org is your one-stop shop to guide the Great Lakes Bay region. Whether it's a weekend plan or last-minute idea, get out, explore local, and go Great Lakes.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
out no money, girl. Come on.
Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
You know, two things I can't get enough of. Two things I love. Logic and common sense. There's a rapper named Logic and there's a rapper named Common. I'm just realizing that. Either way, those are two things I love. And lately in college sports, there has not been a lot of either of those things until yesterday, where both the Big Ten in the morning, the SEC in the afternoon. Look at the conference that followed suit. And look at the conference that paved the way. Both of them announced, hey, players that have signed with NFL teams, have worn an NFL jersey. Same thing with the NBA, WNBA as well. Like, if you've ever suited up for a G League team, a practice squad, no, we're not doing this anymore. You can't come back to college football after you declare for the draft and go get drafted or go undrafted and sign with a team, go on wait, whatever it is. You're not allowed to come back anymore. This is obviously in wake of LSU bringing back not one but two different players who cleared waivers, got cut from their specific rosters in the NFL and wanted to return to college football. And there was no one saying that this was impossible. The NCAA couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't jump in and say, we're not doing this. But you know who can? Tony Petitti, Big Ten commissioner. You know who did? Greg Sankey, SEC commissioner. They both jumped in yesterday and said, no, absolutely not. You will not be allowed to add players who left, went to a team, had practice, training camps, and then come back to college football. Why? Because that's what common sense says. This is college football we're talking about, not some farm system for NFL teams. I mean, it serves as one, but we're not sending guys back to college football when they fail in the NFL. It's time to move on, brother. So I love that both of these conferences stepped in and said, you know what, we're going to do what makes sense for the sake of the sport rather than just winning. I think it's notable which conference stepped up first and decided to do that. It was the Big Ten. I read this, and as soon as the SEC decided that they were going to jump in and follow suit, my first thought was, what on earth do the Big Ten and SEC still need the NCAA for? Clearly, Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey, individually, have more power than the NCAA because they were able to outrule or make a ruling within their conference that those two things cannot happen without coach suspensions and fines and all these different things, like huge punishments for bringing back players, even though the NCAA technically allows it. Individually, I think they have more power than the NCAA. Together, they can do whatever they want. Rather than fighting each other, Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti, about, which playoff format's the best, which playoff format gets my conference more teams in. These two should just join up and make a different conference, different playoffs. Oh, we don't like the way that it's set up right now? Cool, make your own. Get away from the NCAA and make your own rule book on college football. And I think everybody would have a lot more enjoyable time. And guess what? The other conferences, ACC, Big 12, they'd join you. They would jump right in and follow you gladly because the NCAA they don't have it anymore, man. They don't have the leadership skills to do this. They don't have the authority to rule over college football or college basketball with logic, with common sense, the way that the Big Ten and SEC clearly do. There are certain rules that people try to bend, whether it's recruiting. Obviously Michigan's been involved in a bunch of stuff. The SEC's been doing it for decades. Eventually, you got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, what are we doing? And bringing players back from the NFL to come play college again was one of those moments. So I'm so glad that both Petitti from the Big Ten and Sankey from the SEC jumped in and were like, you know what? For the sake of, humanity, let's give the NCAA a middle finger. And since they're not going to do anything about it, let's do something about it ourselves. I hope they just continue to do this and join forces and create something that's way different than the NCAA, who clearly has no ability to rule over college football anymore.
And I think that the best part about this is, like, the NCAA has been wanting to do this. It's not like the NCAA advocates to have these former pro players join or guys that were in the G League and stuff like that. They don't want that stuff to happen. They clearly tried to fight a lot of it that happened mainly in college basketball last season. Mm-hmm. They were just unable to because there's no punishment put in place. Like, the reason why this is going to be effective for the SEC and the Big Ten is they have punishments. Okay, if you want to even try to do this, boom, here's the punishments. Like, they have those listed as a part of these rules. And so
coach suspended 50% of the season.
Yeah.
Like, no coach is just going to willingly do that.
Why would you do that? Exactly. It makes no sense at all. And I just think, like, actually putting a real guideline on it. Now, there is still some murky waters here with some of the stuff, but they had to get this out because college football starts this weekend, so they kind of had to do this in a bit of a rush.
And the ACC and Big 12 have meetings this week as well to discuss the exact same topic.
They're likely going to do the same thing. I mean, I'd be very surprised if they did not. And probably most conferences will adopt this as well.
Thank you, Big 10, for leading the way.
I just wonder if some of these guys will try to go play at other schools now that aren't a part of the Power Four, just so they can still play. Do they really care that much?
Grow up is what I would tell those people.
Yeah, that's probably what you would tell most of those people. But even, like, the one part that I can never get behind is the NCAA last year. This is more of the college basketball part of this. Their whole thing last year was, okay, if you were on an NBA team, you can't come back. But G League and stuff like that, we don't care about. Just the SEC in 5 seconds said, no, if you're on a G League team, you can't play. That's part of the NBA, dude. You signed a contract with a team, a professional team. Mm-hmm. Like, it was that easy for them to say, no, that doesn't count either. Where it took the NCAA having multiple players who played in the G League last year come back to college basketball
to never come to a conclusion
and actually play. Like, they actually got back to college basketball while they were like, oh, we really are trying to put an end to this. It took the SEC and the Big Ten 2 seconds to figure this out.
Yeah. Which is even more evidence that they don't need the NCAA, those two conferences. And if they wanted to create their own playoff format, they could do it and no one would argue. Not once, I mean, like, fans of the Big 12 and ACC would. I would say, who really cares about those fans right now? Because those teams aren't winning national championships right now. If they wanted to go create their own 14-team playoff, 7 Big 10, 7 ACC, who's stopping them from doing it?
I just wonder, are we still going to see the trend of, like, the lawsuits? Like, is this going to create more lawsuits? Probably, right? Like most of the time they were against the NCAA to get court injunctions and get temporary restraints from all of the orders that are put in place.
Yeah, and
we're going to get more of that now, probably.
And the players might win more of those lawsuits against the NCAA.
But here's the punishment.
But
go
Tony
ahead and do it.
Petitti just jumped right in and said, okay, go ahead. Your coach is gone half the season if you do it. Okay, no coach is going to do that in the Big Ten.
And that will just be put in stand. Yeah, like they can't go to court over that.
Yeah. So shout out to the commissioners, man. Usually the commissioners are the corrupt guys. They're not really doing anybody any favors. Both the SEC and the Big Ten commissioners stepped up to the plate yesterday and made logical, common sense decisions, something the NCAA has failed to do for the past 5 years. 989-837-6125. Hey, should the Pistons finally move on from Jalen Duren? That's when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
Welcome back in. Ben Bosscher Show live here, 10 o'clock hour. Brought to you by Air Insurance. Been a lot of Jalen Duren buzz this week, oddly. Two different updates. One of which from Jake Fisher says a 4-year, $160 million deal is potentially in the works. So maybe an extension coming for Jalen Duren. And then obviously the buzz around that trade Because that's contradictory of everything that we've learned about Jalen Duren over the past 2 weeks. A lot of other reports suggest these two camps are nowhere close to the same number. It's gotten nasty. A trade is still on the table. And then Bleacher Report put out that trade of Miles Turner, Ryan Hollins, and a first-round pick for Jalen Duren. I'll tell you why I think that would be a bad idea. But where are you at with this Jalen Duren thing, Kyle? Because I struggle to find any sort of legitimate reason on why they should move off of him, with the caveat, unless they get Trey Murphy back in return from New Orleans and they get the Pelicans involved in this somehow. But there is no evidence that the Pelicans want to do anything. Feels like the Pelicans are very much comfortable being the worst team in the NBA with no desire to get out of that. So unless New Orleans is involved in this to where you can get Trey Murphy, which is kind of this person we've circled for the last year or so about who Pistons should try to acquire, I just don't see enough reasoning as to why they would move on from Jalen Duren, because I'm still working under the impression that this will get done at some point. There's no reason for Jalen Duren to sign the qualifying offer. It's bad for him. It's bad for the Pistons. Nobody wins if that's the case because of the no trade clause. He doesn't make hardly any money this season compared to what he could. He could probably make 3.5 times that if he actually signed any sort of long-term offer. And also, yeah, the no trade clause as well. It's just a loss for everybody. And then if you're the Pistons, you're probably losing him entirely the following offseason. So I don't see a reason as to why they would trade him unless they're getting a premium prize back in return. And I don't see that that's the case with this Miles Turner trade heading if Jalen Duren were to head to the Bucks. I think it's just still, I'm working under the impression, I know things have changed, I know it's reportedly gotten nasty, that he's going to be back with the Pistons on some sort of 4-year extension, maybe even a 3-year extension throughout this offseason. They've basically got into a game of chicken at this point. And that's where we are with the Jalen Duren situation in my mind.
I've got a simple question.
Let's hear it.
If you're under the impression that he's just going to sign with the Pistons still, why hasn't he?
Wants the most amount of money as possible, and he thinks the longer
and
he waits.
Thinks in 2 weeks it's just coming? Because now that Peyton Watson, who was the lone other guy who was threatening to take the qualifying offer from the team that was unwilling to pay him, and it's not that Denver was unwilling to pay him, they just literally couldn't because they were in a cap hell situation. Now that situation had been resolved and they did sign and trade him to Cleveland, Jalen Duren is the lone guy left. There's no Jonathan Kuminga too, but he's basically a free agent at this point. Duren has no reason not to sign if we all think that's what's going to end up happening. Now it has to get done by October 1st. If not, then he just is a sitting free agent when the league year starts. That's not going to happen. He'll either take the qualifying offer or they'll come to an agreement before that day. I just don't get why we're still here. Why it's August the 26th and Jalen Duren does not have an extension. It doesn't make sense for the Pistons. It doesn't make sense for Jalen Duren. The only resolve to me, this is just how I'm processing all of this, clearly there is a broken relationship there, or else something would have been done by now. Clearly. Because if Jalen Duren has to recognize at this point, unless he's truly stupid, no team can pay him. There's no team out there that can do it. The only way that this could happen, and this is a scenario that is potential for it to be likely, is that they know there is a team that is willing to give him more than the Pistons want. They just can't because they don't have the space to. So it would have to be via sign and trade.
Yeah, which has happened. Miles Turner got traded 2 weeks before the season started last year. I think Karl Anthony Towns also, when he got traded to New York, that was a couple weeks
that was
before
like
the season.
In this time frame. Yeah, it was like early September. Yeah. So it could happen. The problem is Jalen Duren would then have to wait it out until the Pistons are finally willing to do a sign and trade, So that could be the scenario that we're in right now. The issue is both of the scenarios I just laid out don't involve Duren being on the Pistons.
Yeah.
Which that's why I am just starting to, I'm not saying I want him to be traded, but I certainly am not how I was a month ago or how you are right now of, he's just going to be back on the Pistons. I'm not 100% confident in that anymore.
I think I've worked under the impression through most of this offseason that it's still a 90 to 95% chance of that happening. I think I've bumped that down to 75. I understand that there is an outcome to this where Jalen Duren is not on the Detroit Pistons. Where I would really caution fans is because Jalen Duren has not done anything to make Pistons fans like him over the past 6 months. Between the playoffs and the refusal to sign this contract and overvaluing himself, I get it that there's a lot of people that probably are fine with seeing him get traded at this point in the offseason. Where I would caution fans is be careful what you wish for, because I don't think there's anything that the Pistons could get back in return in a potential sign-and trade that actually would make them better, unless it was Trey Murphy. Because here's the thing with this Miles Turner deal. He's got 3 years left on his deal, and he's just been a declining player for the last 3 seasons. He's decreased in rebounds each of the last 4 seasons. I guess playing with Giannis last year probably didn't help. But,
yeah,
I mean, the Pistons would go from a guy playing center who dominates the glass, over 10 rebounds a game, to a guy who averaged 5 at the center position last season. You go from a guy in Jalen Duren who, despite his struggles in the playoffs, let's put this into perspective. Jalen Duren dunked 21 times in the playoffs last season. I want a center who can go just put the ball through the rim.
Wait, did you say Jalen Duren playoffs?
Yes.
You should bring up every other stat.
I know. But, like, just to put it into perspective, just the different styles that these two centers would. Miles Turner dunked 25 times all year in the regular season and had 2 alley-oops. He finished 2 alley-oops the entire season. You're not getting someone who's going to dominate the glass nor put any pressure on the rim. So, like, again, be careful what you wish for if you want Jalen Duren off the team, because as flawed as a player as he is and as frustrated as we became with him in the playoffs, you're like if you trade him away, you're likely just going to have a very negative center room. You're going to have a negative impact center room throughout the course of the entire season after having a positive one 82 games last year. I know what happened in the playoffs. I'm very aware. You don't have to remind me. You're likely going to downgrade and be worse as an entire team if you move off of him in any capacity, is where I would caution fans. Unless it's with New Orleans, which I just don't really think that's on the table.
See, I don't also get that either. Like, you're talking about the center room with moving off of Duren. At least you're getting a starting center back. You trade him to New Orleans, your starting center's Paul Reed.
I know.
And you don't have a backup. Like, at least in this trade, and I'm not saying, like, this is the deal that has to be done, but if you were to the point where it was like, yeah, trading Jalen Duren is the play, I don't really hate the deal. Like, I don't. And you talk about there's no pressure on the rim, Jalen Duren leaving. Do we forget who they signed as their power forward this season?
John Collins, yeah.
John Collins is going to, like, a complete flip of what Tobias Harris was at the 4, you know? So, like, and we've always wanted at least you have always discussed how having a stretch center is, like, the most vital thing ever, not only for just the NBA, but the Pistons have Asar Thompson on their team.
Yeah.
Like, I think it could unleash a lot of things. I'm not sitting here saying Miles Turner's better than Jalen Duren. He's not even close. I agree with you in that perspective, of course. I also think Ryan Rollins would be, like, an elite add to this team, a sense of creation that the Pistons just don't have outside of Cade Cunningham. I don't hate the deal at all, but it's not even just about the specific deal in itself. It is just the fact that we are about to reach September. We're about to get to football season, and yet a Jalen Duren news pop is going to happen in the middle of the football season because we are, for some reason, still waiting. What are we waiting for at this point?
Well, if this 4-year, $160 million report is real, Jalen Duren probably already has that contract signed, and it's the Pistons who are.
That's the part that I'm saying too. Like, I saw this report yesterday, and Fisher, he's kind of a trustworthy guy. He is at least a guy, so you have to take what he's saying, like, at least somewhat seriously.
Got to be careful in the NBA offseason because everybody becomes a guy. But Fisher, you're right. He's one of the guys, one of the real guys.
Sure. Why would this deal not just be done? If a 4-year, $160 million deal is on the table, Duren would be signing that in a heartbeat.
Exactly, which is why I think this report is I always think about this stuff.
There's no benefit for the Pistons to sit here and wait this thing out because they need to extend Asar Thompson still.
Who does it benefit more to put this out and tell Jake Fisher, like, yeah, there's a $160 million deal on the table? Probably.
I mean, I don't see how it benefits the Pistons
if they were to put that out. Yeah, because then Duren's just asking for more. And if Duren can't put that out, it's like...
Because it would just be a lie if the Pistons put that out and they weren't planning on doing it. You know, like, it has to... I have no idea.
I feel like it would have to just be Duren's camp, and then it's like, yeah, this is the number we have set, and this is the number we want. The Pistons won't give it to us.
Yeah, and that could very likely be what happened here. The Pistons or Duren's agent just going to reporters and saying, yeah, this is what we want, and Fisher phrasing it as, oh, this is what has been discussed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it seems like it's being discussed by one side and not the other. I
compared that to the Sengun contract, and obviously 160 for 4 years averages out to $40 million. Sengun is $37 million AAV. He's a 2-time All-Star at the center position as well, whose efficiency also took a dip in the playoffs. Not as drastic as Duren, obviously, but like my initial reaction to that was that's pretty expensive considering what a lot of other guys got this past free agency. But I don't know. The more I thought about it, it's not
it's not
outrageous.
That bad. No, the 35.5 would be the number in year 1 too, which would give the Pistons a lot of flexibility to like make more trades during the season, like at the deadline. They would not be. They'd be still in a really good cap situation, at least for year 1. But it's, to me, what I got from that report is what we're talking about is, okay, then why is it not done? If that's the number, then why is it not? Does Duren want more than that?
I mean, that would be asinine if he was asking for more than $160 million. Like that truly would tell me this guy's just, he doesn't understand how any of this works. And I do think his agent is kind of falling into that camp because it's him and he represents Jalen Duren and Tari Eason, right?
Correct.
Those are the only 2 NBA guys that he represents. Tari Eason had an offer for what he lost out on like $20 million.
He lost out on plenty of money, yeah.
During the season, Houston offered him this like massive contract,
yeah.
and then they just didn't have the money to do it this offseason. He lost like $20 million. Yeah, that's the guy representing Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren, take a hint. Go get a different agent.
I am definitely concerned that the reason why this hasn't been done, from either if that offer's on the table or not, is that the Vincent Goodwill, Tim McMahon podcast clip that we talked about last week, but if you haven't seen it, they essentially just kind of danced around saying that, there clearly is a broken relationship here. They're like, I don't want to say too much, but there's some frustration from Duren's camp about how this whole offseason contract negotiation has gone, and it could hinder their relationship going forward.
But
that's what you don't. They didn't even say what they don't want to say. Then what do they don't want to say?
I'm not just ignoring that. I'm recognizing that and putting that over here. If he ended up signing the contract, I don't think that has anything to do with JB Bickerstaff or his teammates. You know, like that's a separate issue with the front office that he would have. And if that's the case,
totally.
I don't like once the season starts, I don't really care, to be honest. Those are 2 separate things. I still ultimately want him back on a deal.
I do too, but I've gotten to the point now where like I'm also not going to be mad if he's not. And I always was on the camp of if he's not back on the Pistons, what are we doing?
Yeah, because it doesn't even feel like he wants to be here.
Exactly.
Feels like he just wants his money.
I'll say this. I know you don't love the Bucks trade, whatever. Miles Turner and Ryan Rollins are on the Pistons in the playoffs last year. Do they beat the Cavs? In the playoffs.
You asked me this, and I thought about it a lot.
Because the only reason I said it is because you specifically said, I don't care about anything that Jalen Duren does in the regular season next year. It's all about the playoffs.
Yeah.
Miles Turner and Ryan Rollins are on the Pistons last year. They are no doubt about it in the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, Ryan Rollins was 17-6-5 last year. He's your starting 2. And an elite secondary creator, at least for the Pistons.
Yeah, and I would say the defense just gets worse with Miles Turner out there.
Duren stunk too.
Duren stunk too, yeah. I looked this up. Opponent field goal percentage in the restricted area. Duren was 63%. Turner was 67%. That was regular season, though.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's pretty hard to stop guys from scoring if they go up in the restricted
Wendell
area.
Carter shot like I think 1,000% against Jalen Duren in that playoff series.
Yeah, non-existent.
I just think that they would have been competing against the Knicks in the conference finals, and so that was a bit eye-opening to me. Of like, they get worse on paper, but if we put it into a real playoff series like we watched last year,
I do think that there is an element though that everybody wants to stretch big. It is a cheat code. You have to one thing that kind of just gets forgotten about is rebounding. And if they were to bring this, the Pistons would all of a sudden have a major rebounding flaw, a major rebounding problem if they just got rid of Jalen Duren. And
I think
brought
that's
in
the biggest concern. I agree.
Yeah.
That is the one I 100% agree with you on.
You got to have a guy who can rebound, and Miles Turner is.
Yeah, and Collins is a good rebounder for a 4. Like he's 8 to 10 rebounds his whole career, but still, you can't rely on him to be your main rebounder.
Yeah, and then offensively, Miles Turner just basically hangs out on the 3-point line.
Yeah, just you sits at the top of the key mainly.
You need somebody to put pressure on the rim at all times.
Yeah.
You need that in a lot of ways in the NBA, and this trade, which is just a trade, it's just a mock trade from Bleacher Report, who puts together notoriously bad trades.
It has no warrant to it. I just think it is interesting.
I think I do too. 989-837-6125. Big Win Wednesday. That's right. We're giving away Detroit Tigers tickets for their Friday game against the Dodgers because we believe Tarek Skubal is going to be pitching in that one.
It has been announced and confirmed today, by the way. Skubal is pitching Friday.
Skubal's pitching Friday. Here's how you can win tickets. Text in Skubal to 989-837-6125. Text in Skubal to 989-837-6125. for a chance to win. Attach your name to that text as well so we can give you a little bit of a shout out. And we'll get you those tickets here in the next 48 hours. We'll pick a winner here in the next 10 minutes or so. When we come back, we'll take a trip around the league, continue our division preview series that we've been doing. It's going to be the NFC East today. Again, it's 989-837-6125. Text in Scooble for a chance to win Friday tickets to the Tigers game at Comerica Park against the Dodgers against Scooble. Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt. 10 o'clock hour brought to you by Aired Insurance. At Aired Insurance, they want to put you in the best insurance position possible. Whether it's your home, auto, life, or business coverage, they make sure your protection actually fits your life. If you're looking for a team that takes the guesswork out of insurance, this is it. Be sure to go follow Aired Insurance Group on social media to stay connected every day and see how they're helping people along the way.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Myth.
All right, 989-837-6125. That's what you got to text in to win the Scooble tickets. Again, it's text in Scooble to 989-837-6125 for a chance to win tickets to Friday's game where Tarek Scooble's going to be on the mound against his former team, the Tigers.
And you said he's not going to get booed.
I don't think he will. You do?
I think he will.
I think
it seems like I'm in the minority in that.
Maybe I think the Tigers might get booed.
Ooh.
Although I will say the fans have been like kind of crazy good this for like the last 2 weeks, even though they're like dead in a coma.
Crazy good?
Like they just be chanting random stuff. You notice that? I don't even know what they're trying to say, but they like all week long. It's like the fans are so drunk off of, well, alcohol and also like, oh my God, I can't believe this season's like basically
So
over.
weird.
They're just yelling stuff. It's fun. They've been good crowds at Comerica, you know? People are just trying to enjoy the last month of summer, which you have deemed a fake month.
Yeah, it's the fake month is almost over.
I still don't really comprehend what you mean by that.
August is just a waiting period. That's all it is. It's a fake month. No one does anything in August. Everybody's summer is plans. Everything they do for the summer ends in July. August is just like when you're young, it's like, oh, school is pretty close. Oh, you're getting that dreading feeling. Even when you're in college, you get that feeling. When you're an adult, if you have kids, you probably feel the same way. Like, oh, my kids get to go back to school.
What about us? We're adults with no kids.
Football.
But there is no football in August.
Yeah, but all you're doing is thinking about football being back. It's a waiting period.
Okay,
Think
but
about what we've been doing all month.
I know, but how's that different from me in like May
You're not
and
actually
June?
enjoying summer though. Like you are, but you're not It's not like May, June, and July. You don't have any real plans. You're just kind of sitting here waiting for it to be over. You're just doing like, oh, summer's almost over.
Yeah, now
no,
it's
dude,
cold
enjoy
in the
it. Don't talk
mornings.
about it. August
Yeah.
is a fake month. There's 11 months.
It's maybe your best take. All right, 989-837-6125. I got a winner. Give me a drum roll. Congratulations to Matt. I don't know if I should say his last name. Probably
No,
not.
just say Matt.
What if there's multiple Matts that have texted in?
Well, the one they got to text back.
I haven't texted them
Do you
back
have
yet.
do you have a last name or a initial?
Matt N, as in neighbor.
Got
Matt
it.
N. I'll text you back with more details here momentarily, but you are our winner for Big Win
Shout out
Wednesday.
to Matt N.
Big Win Wednesday, as always, brought to you by Garber Chevrolet. They make these giveaways possible every single week. Garber Chevrolet, if you're looking for a place to purchase your new ride, I can tell you from firsthand experience, Garber Chevrolet in Midland makes it easy. Bought my first car there last summer. Whole process was smooth, easy, no stress-free, very straightforward. Whether it's a new whip, quality used vehicle, team knows their stuff and knows how to treat you right. That's Garber Chevrolet, a place you can actually trust to purchase your ride. Again, Matt, I will text you the details here momentarily, but we're going to take a trip around the league and continue our division preview series.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
Our only requirement, Matt, you got to boost Scooble.
That is Kyle's requirement.
That is my requirement, yes.
That is his request.
You have to boo Scooble.
And we need video evidence of it.
Yeah. And if you don't, then we're taking it back.
Yep.
I don't know how we would do that.
We're showing
but we
up to
are.
Comerica Park and we're pulling you from
Yep,
the stadium.
Yep, and we're going to sit there.
Okay, so far we have done the NFC South and we've done the NFC West. We both had the same winners in each division. We had the Bucks and we had the Rams. Today we're going to do the NFC East. We're previewing the North tomorrow. Wow. And this will bleed into next week as well, I've decided. Let's go.
Well, yeah, kind of has to.
Yes. All right.
Can I tell you this is the division I've been most excited to do so far?
Really? All right.
I'm so excited for it.
Well, for anyone who's been listening, you know this. The theme of this division preview, I've got one prayer and one reality for every single team. Let's start out. What team you want to start out with?
You choose. I don't care.
I want to start out with the Giants.
Okay?
All right. Here's the prayer for the Giants. Dear athletic training staff, be blessed with the ability to take care of this team. Between Jackson, I've been in concussion protocol 5 times as a rookie dart, and his moronic sidekick, Cam Scadaboo, and Odell's 33-year-old surgically repaired knees, and Malik Neighbors coming back from a major injury. Your work is going to be cut out for you. Please keep your patience with Scadaboo and Dart as they scream at you that they are fine when they are clearly not. God bless them and their smooth brains. The reality of the situation is Matt Nagy's your OC. Denard Wilson's your DC. Who's that? Doesn't matter. You whiffed on Anthony Weaver. That's the job. That's the guy that you wanted to have the job, and he passed it up. Andrew Taylor's never healthy. Dart can't protect himself anyway, and he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league when he just has to sit in the pocket. He gets panicked. He's one of those guys that gets panicked and just decides to use his legs. That's when he ends up in concussion protocol and then confused about why he's in concussion protocol. Buddy, because you're holding your head and you're on the ground. This is the New York Giants we're talking about. They're ultimately going to disappoint. I know John's not going to like that. I know you think it's a bit that I just don't like this team. I genuinely think this team's going to flop. Their over-under is, what is it? It's kind of the whole point of the series. Just probably know. It's 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah, slamming the under. Maybe one of the ones I'm the most confident in.
Slamming it. Mentioned it the other day. Only one time ever has John Harbaugh gone under 7 wins or less as a career as a head coach. It was also with the Ravens every single time.
Yeah, much more stable organization.
Yeah, of course. Here's the thing about this whole division, the NFC East as a whole. This, to me, is the division of trends, and every team has a trend as why I picked their over or under, except for the Giants. They don't have one. Here's the trend I'm following. Your starting quarterback and starting running back are extremely injury-prone, and they both were last year.
And they're both
That's not
morons.
a trend. And I think, obviously, pretty important to note that they did lose Dexter Lawrence. I thought it was a good trade. I thought getting the 10th overall pick for Dexter Lawrence is a great trade. He's still not on your team last year. You were pretty bad with him. The defense is going to be pretty good. Their pass rush was great last year. It's probably going to be even better this season.
Yep.
100%. Defense should just be good.
I really like the defensive line, what they have going for
It's
them.
probably going to be a good defense overall. But their wide receiver room, Malik Neighbors, obviously, it sounds like he is going to be ready to go at the beginning of the season now, which is good. That's a good sign. But outside of him, it's a bunch of guys you don't really know.
Oh, you know them. They're just ancient.
Do I? It's kind of it gives a little bit of Miami Dolphins wide receiver room. Darius Slayton, I think, is still there.
Jalen Hyatt.
Jalen Hyatt. I mean, the fact that he isn't even cut yet is crazy. Isaiah Hodgins is on this team. And
Darnell
then obviously
Mooney's here too. Don't forget.
Darnell Mooney's on this team. Has 1,000 wide receivers.
Braxton Berrios.
Yeah, they also have Berrios and Juju and OBJ.
And Calvin Austin.
Calvin Austin's actually out for the year. I saw he tore his ACL.
I'm just kidding. They don't have him.
Yeah, that actually stinks.
I think they
have 1 million wide receivers.
I do like their tight ends. I'll say that.
Yeah, Isaiah Likely should have a pretty good year.
Yeah.
Kind of like him as a fantasy sleeper, by the way.
I love him as a fantasy guy.
Yeah. But when your quarterback and running back are just extremely injury prone, probably number 1 and number 2 guys that are, as far as injury prone duos for quarterback, running back in the league, I can't think of another one. So the 2 guys that have the football the most are the most injury prone. That's not a good sign. I'm also going to go under. I mean, 7.5 is just a high line in general.
It's a lot of wins for a team that had, 5 wins last year?
And they also have become, okay, here's actually the trend that I am going to do, I guess, for this team. They have become the darling team.
Yeah.
They have become the double your win total team. Mm-hmm. And so many people are on it. I love to zag. I'm the king of zags. When it comes to lines and picking spreads and stuff, I am going to zag and take their own.
This team has peaked already, and they peaked when they beat the Eagles last year on primetime football. And Cam Scadaboo and Jackson Dart did their little post-game interview, and I said, that's the highlight of the Giants season. This isn't a team that has just arrived. It is a team that had a moment, and that is their single moment.
I will say, let Jackson Dart do a dance when he scores a touchdown, man.
Don't be
that
fine.
mad
Do a
about
celly, but don't do these ridiculous touchdown dances. I think he's more concerned about being cool than playing quarterback and leading. That's just from the outside looking in perspective.
If that is true, then we have a problem. I would assume that is not true.
You know who's not worried about all that stuff? Jared Goff. Cool, calm, collected. He's not worried about it. Okay, next one. Washington Commanders. Here's my prayer. I like this one. Dear Jaden Daniels' mom.
Oh.
Stay away. You stay away from us, you witch. No one is doubting your ability to raise a child. By all accounts, you are a great mother, and Jaden is a great man. But it's time you let him be on his own. Let him grow up, woman. What do you think you're going to do? Just baby him the rest of your life? Are you doing this for him, or are you doing this for you? You stay away from our team. You're just a distraction from what matters, getting back to the NFC Championship. Are we the oldest team in football? Yes. Does Jaden Daniels know how to slide? No. Did Terry McLaurin look totally washed last season? Yes. And is our starting left tackle healthy? No. See, we've got our own problems, Mama Daniels. We don't need your drama. The reality is, Dan Quinn is for sure getting canned for an offensive-minded head coach in the next 4 months. This team is not very good.
They got David Blau, though.
Maybe he'll be the head coach. This is the oldest defense in the NFL, and they've regressed 3 years in a row in terms of where they've added up at the end of the season. Not a great sign for Dan Quinn that they just keep not only getting older, but just getting worse.
Defensive wizard.
Yeah. I don't know. Like the fact that they caught lightning in a bottle a couple years ago is starting to seem more and more like a lightning in the bottle moment than anything. Their over-under is sitting at also 7.5. And that took the under on them as well.
Here's the first trend that I'm following in this with this Commanders team. Each of the last 3 seasons, well, typically every single year, in each conference, there is a team that doubles their win total from the season prior, right? It's just something that has consistently happened in the NFL. In the NFC, the last 3 seasons, there have been 2 teams to double their win total. Minnesota and Washington, actually, in 2023 to 24. The Bears and the 49ers last year, both doubling their win total. I think the Washington Commanders is the team to do it this year, Ben.
Wow.
I'm hard over on the Washington Commanders. I think this is a Jaden Daniels bounce back year. I think that the David Blau stuff actually, I mean, he was getting crazy talked about this offseason as like the next up-and-coming offensive genius or whatever. Screw it, I'll buy into it. I don't see why not. Obviously, the age thing is super concerning. I'm with you on that part. Their defense was very underwhelming last year.
32nd ranked age
they're
defense.
They're just old in general. Like, they added Stephon Diggs. Laramie Tunsil goes out. That's not great. I saw they brought in DJ Humphries, though, to fill in on the offensive line. I like the addition of Stephon Diggs. I think their wide receiver room did look a little bit sketchy. It was just injured last year. I think a McLaurin, Diggs, Traylon Burks is not the end of the world as far as a weapons room.
They've got a rookie who's been popping off a little, too.
Yeah. I think I'm in on the Commanders over at least. I don't know if they'll get all the way up to 12 wins, which would be doubling their win total. But as far as looking elsewhere in the NFC, who else is going to do it?
So you think they can compete to win this division?
I mean, they won 5 games last year, so they have to win 10. For some reason, I thought they won 6. They won 5 games last year. They go 10-7. That's doubling their win total.
I feel like 10-7 is at least like in the ballpark of contending to win the division.
Yeah, it is. It's in the ballpark. I mean, we'll talk about that other team in a second, but
2 other teams.
Well, yeah, but the other team that I think is going to be, not really in competition to win the division. I just think that the Commanders winning 10 games is not going to shock me all that much. I think Daniels, I'm going to trust a little bit more what I saw in year 1 versus year 2. And yeah, because who else is going to double their win total in the NFC? The Giants obviously is the popular pick at 4 wins. None of the teams in the NFC North literally can because they all won 9 games. The New Orleans Saints is the only one that can in the South because they won 6. You think the Saints are winning 12 games?
Can the Cardinals go from
and then the Cardinals
3 to 6? I think
I kind of you just point to the Commanders, or it's not going to happen. But like I said, I like to follow trends, so I will follow this trend. And I'm picking the Commanders.
For me, the offensive line is not good enough. I know they picked up L.J. Humphries to replace Laramie Tunsil, but Jaden Daniels was just constantly under pressure so much last season. Yeah. I don't think that's going to be all that much different, and this is just a slow, aging defense yet again.
Now, when I made this pick,
it's tough. Man.
Maybe I did kind of forget about the Daniels' mom stuff.
Yeah, that's the prayer that she stays away.
Yeah, that could be an issue for us. But screw it, I'm taking the over.
Okay, I'll take the under there. Our first disagreement of the day. Actually, I guess it's only our second team. All right, next team. The Dallas Cowboys. Dear Dak, it's finally time. The stars are aligning. To win a Super Bowl? No, you're the Dallas Cowboys. You don't do that. But it is time to overtake the Eagles and win this division. The Eagles were the first team to win this division back-to-back years since 2004. We cannot allow a three-peat. Between Pickens and CeeDee, you arguably have the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. You finished 1st, 4th, 1st, 21st in an off year in which Dak was hurt, and 7th in the last 5 years in terms of scoring in the NFL. This, in a lot of ways, is the opposite of the Texans situation. C.J. Stroud just has to be, fine. And this will be a great team because of how good the defense is. Whereas you look at this Dallas team, this offense is going to put up points. Potential best offense in the NFL. All the defense has to do is be average. You ranked 32nd last year. No way. No way that happens again. You added Quinnen Williams, Rashawn Gary on the fly, Kenny Clark. You drafted Caleb Downs. You'd signed Kobe Durant. There are some playmakers on this team, and now that there is a true offseason and training camp to prepare, this can jump up to an average defense. And that is all it would take to win this division. Lead us to 11 wins, Dak Prescott, and an inevitably disappointing playoffs. The reality? That's exactly what's going to happen, Kyle. I think those prayers are going to come true for the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
I'm very in on this team this season.
Yeah, this has been the team you've been all over.
Now, do I think they can win a Super Bowl? No, they're the Dallas Cowboys. But for all the reasons I laid out of this being a spectacular offense every single season in which Dak is healthy, and all the additions they've made to their defense with the, supplement of the draft picks that they had because of the Micah Parsons trade, they utilized those exceptionally well in my mind. Now they've got some time to actually gel rather than build on the fly from last season. Be the 15th best defense in the NFL, and this team's going to be a really tough team to beat.
I think they have the capability to do that, too, with
I
their
do, too.
defense. Okay, here's the trend I've got for the Cowboys, Ben. I don't think anybody likes Dak Prescott more than me. But there was a reason why last year I was so all in on the Cowboys last year. It was because of the Dak Prescott trend. What do we always say about Joe Burrow? He's an on-off year guy. Well, the on-off year guy is Dak Prescott. Going back to 2020, Dak Prescott misses 11 games. 2021, fully healthy. Great year, 4,500 pass yards. 2022, misses 5 games. 2023, plays in every game. Over 4,500 pass yards. Great year. 2024, misses 9 games. Misses more than half the season. And then last year, fully healthy, 4,500 yards. Big-time year for Dak. It wasn't enough, obviously. He has been the on-off year guy as far as being healthy and being not. And I'm never just going to, pray or rely on an injury, but the history shows you that's what Dak Prescott has been over the last 6 years now of his career. I mean, 6 years, it's been a consecutive thing going on. I can't control that. Even if Dak misses 5 games, this team is not hitting their over. I think the Cowboys will be better than last year, but I think they go 9-8. I go under.
Who's their backup quarterback nowadays?
Is it still the Joe
Milton and Sam Howell?
I kind of like Joe Milton.
Throws a bullet.
Pretty fun. He's one of the Sam Howell. You want to talk about a fun backup? He's a fun backup. I mean, if Dak Prescott misses 4 to 6 games, even let's keep it light. They're winning 10 games still with that. They can survive and win 10 games if Dak misses that amount of time.
Probably not. I think I'm just kind of. I know there's an every other year thing going on, but I think he keeps it together this season. I'm going to be optimistic.
That would be great. I root for it.
Well, let's just for the sake of the segment, if he were to stay healthy, if I told you he's playing 17 games,
sure, but
what do you think this team would how many wins do you think this team's going to get if their over/under's 9.5?
Probably 10, right at it. I mean,
so you think even their ceiling is
I don't.
pretty
I don't think that they are. I don't think this team is a 12-win team.
See,
and you
this
just
might
do.
be this might be the team that we've disagreed upon the most. In this would be the.
I mean, everything went pretty well for them
done.
last year, wide receiver room wise, offensively in general, everything went pretty well. Javonte Williams was a super cheap guy who they signed and was just pretty awesome.
Yeah, they had the 32nd
George
ranked defense.
Pickens was great. CeeDee Lamb, he missed a little bit of time, but just having the best wide receiver duo, yeah, a lot of things went right for this offense, and yet they were not in a playoff race. So. And even the years that Dak Prescott, taking away the injury, just looking at his touchdown to interception ratio on those on-off years, it's crazy. I mean, a 30-10 last year, and then the year before that, 11-8.
Well, I think a lot of that is he gets hurt and comes back, and he's still
a lot of the times he doesn't come back. But
yeah. All right, well, you got the under, I got the over. We got to move on and get to this Philly team. My prayer is, dear Sean Mannion, the Eagles' new offensive coordinator, please don't be a moron, but also don't be too good either. It's been 5 consecutive years with a new offensive coordinator for this team. It's been a true 50-50 split on hit rate. Steichen was good, Brian Johnson bad. Kellen Moore was good, Kevin Patullo bad. What will you be, Mr. Mannion? Did we trade away arguably our best weapon on offense last season because he didn't get along with the quarterback? You betcha. But it was all his fault. It had nothing to do with the philosopher that is Jalen Hurts, who comes across like he's way smarter than everybody else in the room. You'll get along with him just great. The issue is he only throws deep balls and RPOs and can't actually read a defense. And we just traded away his top target. Good luck. The reality, defense is elite. Offense has enough talent to win 9 games at worst. Incredibly high ceiling, but ultimately it'll be Jalen Hurts that holds this team back. The weapons aren't as great. The offensive line isn't as dominant as we saw last year in the run game. And the offense hasn't been the same since Kellen Moore left. Perhaps it's finally time that Jalen Hurts is going to get a little blame for once. I'm taking the under here.
Wow, really? This is like the over I feel the most confident about maybe in the entire NFL. Things couldn't have went worse last year for the Eagles, and they won 11 games. This roster is elite. This is maybe the best roster in the entire league. Their roster is unbelievable. I just don't see a world where things could go even worse than last year. And even then, that would be just one win less than last season when they went 11-6.
So funky last year.
It was,
man.
but the trend that I'm doing here is the one you laid out. It's been in every they're just hit on offense. Steichen, awesome. Kellen Moore, awesome. You guys are head coaches. Sean Mannion has been pretty highly praised as like one of the offensive minds that was there in Green Bay. LaFleur gets all the credit, but a lot of it went to Sean Mannion as well the last couple of years. So to me, I just don't see a world where this team is way too good to only win 10 games.
They
as
play
far as Philly.
The NFC West.
The entire East division schedule, by the way, is so hard.
Which is part of the reason I'm taking the under. They play the NFC West and they play the AFC South.
Yeah. Like even the Giants and
that's
Commanders' schedule are both of their schedules are pretty tough.
Now the Eagles do start out Washington and Tennessee. Like they'll probably start 2-0.
Sure.
But then they go a stretch of Chicago, the Rams, Jacksonville. Kind of a tough 3-game stretch there.
It is. I just think their team is way too good. Like everything went so poorly last year. I almost feel like them trading A.J. Brown will help them because it was a clear dark cloud over top of this offense, just him being there. He's a great player, obviously, but
hot take. What if A.J. Brown was right?
Could be. Well, but also the guy who was in charge of that is gone. And Kevin Patullo, the guy who was in charge of that situation is out the door. I think they're pretty good.
But I also think Jalen Hurts had a lot of opportunities to mend that relationship and couldn't do it.
I don't love Hurts either. Like, I'm with you. Like, the weakest point of this team probably is their quarterback.
Yeah.
But the team outside of the quarterback is
great.
so good. I just can't see them only winning 10 games. I'm all over the over. They probably win like 13 games.
Wow. All right. And then we have to do the whole is Sirianni a good coach or is he not? And it's like, not really, but like, they won 12 games again.
So you're only on one team's over in this division, so I would assume that means you have the Cowboys winning.
We've got the Cowboys winning this division.
Wow, the Cowboys take back the East.
Nobody's three-peating. Nobody three-peats this division. It's been 20 years.
Nobody went back-to-back either for 20 years. Until they did.
Yeah,
give me the Eagles.
All right, we'll hit the NFC North tomorrow. That is our division preview series around the league. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Again, congratulations to Matt for winning the tickets for the Tarek Skubal start on Friday against the Tigers. Thanks to Garber Chevrolet and Big Win Wednesday. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
you got to give it up to Tony Petitti. You got to give it up for Greg Sankey for finally coming together. These two guys are like fighting all the time. They're like rivals, always trying to one-up one another. Tony Petitti's just had the upper hand here for 3 straight years with 3 straight national championships in the football scene. You know what? They were able to mend their relationship for a little bit yesterday and both come to an agreement. Hey, you know what's probably best for our sport collectively? Let's not allow players who have played in the NFL, whether that's on a preseason team, a practice squad, whatever it is. Let's not allow those players to come back to college football because that is insane. And yet it was happening and the NCAA couldn't do anything about it. For basically the last 2 years, this has been a battle that the NCAA has been losing. And it took 5 seconds, 1 day, 1 meeting each for the SEC and Big Ten to step in and be like, yeah, we're just not allowing that to happen anymore. Go ahead and do it. The NCAA is not going to tell you can't, but we're going to suspend your coach half the season if you decide to do this. I love that they were able to step up and actually do something that's good for the sport because it's even more evidence that Petitti and Sankey, the 2 commissioners of each conference, they don't need the NCAA. They could go make their own playoffs if they wanted, and it would be just as entertaining. If not, and it'd probably be way better. And there'd be a lot more logic and common sense applied to the way that it's set up as well.
It's like the commissioner in your fantasy league that just kind of doesn't do group votes and he just does everything on his own. You're like, you know what? We don't need this guy. Yeah. We can do a league that we want. That's player run. Kind of like that. That's what I'm about to do in the league that you're the commissioner in, honestly.
Are you about to overthrow me as the commissioner?
Yeah, for real. I
feel like I do an okay job of commissioner.
Rules. No, you do. I'm just joking. I have a fun hypothetical question about this situation.
Sure.
We're not going to know the answer to this, so maybe this is just a dumb question. If the Big Ten doesn't do this first, does the SEC do it at all? Because the Big Ten didn't have the NFL players coming back. Now, they had guys that had left and had maybe done workouts or something. But
I think it was inevitably going to happen based on Ryan Day's comments.
The Indiana guy was the one guy that people had an issue with, but he did not sign with an NFL team. There was no signees that were going back in the Big Ten, whereas LSU had 2 guys, and then Ole Miss had a guy as well that were signed with NFL teams that were leaving, clearing waivers, and then going back to college. So the SEC, these guys were just about to play.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin has no morals.
Do you think they would have done it? Well, of course he doesn't. But, the entire University of LSU, because this heavily affects the basketball team as well.
It's so funny to me that both the LSU head coach of men's basketball and football just abandoned their previous team in the middle of a playoff run.
Yeah. Will Wade did it back-to-back years, actually, yeah.
Incredible stuff.
Really good stuff.
Do I think the SEC would have done it if the Big Ten didn't do it in the morning? I would like to say no, they would have done it either way. I'm going to say that. I would like to think that they would have done it regardless. If the roles were reversed and the SEC had their meeting in the morning and the Big Ten had their meeting in the afternoon, I would like to think that this went the exact same way. Because I would imagine Petitti and Sankey had mutual agreements heading into their respective meetings of we can't allow this to happen. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. This doesn't really affect the whole 5th-year bonanza that we have going on right now because
ridiculous
situation. It kind of affects it, I guess, because some of these guys that were coming back were the 5th year, but hey, you were on NFL teams, a little bit different. The one where the waters are still a little murky with this situation, the technical ruling on it is that if you have signed an Exhibit 10 contract with a player for this SEC thing or with a team, so technically guys that competed in the summer league this year in the NBA, those guys don't count. Jackson Kohler. He can still come back. Now, obviously, the Big 12 hasn't even adopted this yet. He plans to go to BYU. But there still is definitely some up in the air, loophole, wiggle room type of stuff going on with these rulings. But still, I'm with you in the fact that credit to the Big 10 and the SEC for, hey, we're not scared of the court cases that we're about to get. We're not scared of the lawsuits because we have punishments in place.
Yeah, we can
you can take it to a lawsuit if you want, and you can win. We're still going to have punishments in place.
Yeah, go ahead. Win your lawsuit. You can't coach the team if you bring this guy in. You have limited scholarships if you bring... that is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they might not be able to affect the player themselves. They might not be able to rule the player ineligible, but they certainly can do other things. Similar to how the Big 12 was just you know what? If Texas Tech has, what's his face? I'm already forgetting his name. Brendan Sorsby be the quarterback. None of us are going to play you.
Yep.
None of us are going to play you.
Genius.
You can just do that.
and it's just, there's more and more evidence stacking up. And if you don't see it at this point, like, it's impossible not to. These conferences don't need the NCAA anymore. And I really think it's only a matter of time. And I'm like waiting for the day that these conferences just say, middle finger to the NCAA, we're creating our own playoffs. Because I think it would genuinely be way less corrupt. I think it'd be way more entertaining. I think it would be way more logical. There would actually be an authoritative voice in charge, whether it's Greg Sankey or Tony Petitti. That's would be TBD, probably a combination of both of them. Shout out to both conferences, though, for shutting this down, because the last 48 hours have been ridiculous with all these narratives and what Lane Kiffin's trying to pull off at LSU. They're the number one enemy heading into the college football season, without a doubt. 989-837-6125. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. More on the Lions and whether or not they're better or worse than last season when we come back.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The
Studios. This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
$11 o'clock hour, welcome in. Lot to get to. We've had a good show so far. Here's the deal. I want to discuss whether or not this Lions team is actually better or worse than they were a year ago. Look, I think this schedule, the way that it is set up, the easiest schedule in the NFL heading into the season, they're clearly, in my mind, going to have more wins than they did last year, 9-8. I think without a doubt they will win more games than that. I feel like 10 wins, maybe 9 wins is their like floor, their absolute floor. It's just the way the schedule is set up, guys. It's a joke. It is. Playing a bunch of teams that didn't make the playoffs last year. You've only got, outside of the division games, say 1.5 real tests. Buffalo being one, and then I guess New England is for sure a test, and Tampa, I guess, kind of the gold standard of like the good team that's not great. You're gonna get tested, but like outside of those games, it's a joke, man. There's a lot of layups in there, a lot of them. So I think they're gonna have more wins. But is their team actually better than they were a year ago today, heading into week 1? And I got to be honest, like, as optimistic as I've been about this team, as much as I do think they are going to be contending to win a 1 seed, I did start to question that last night laying in bed. Linebacker room, worse. Safety room, worse. Corner room, neutral at best. You lost Terrion Arnold for nothing, and if you're being optimistic, you'd say DJ Reed is just going to be better than he was last season because he was dealing with a hamstring injury basically the entire year. Okay, I'll buy that. I'll bite. But either way, neutral. Defensive line, I think, is the one clear upgrade on this team. Offensive line, I don't know if it's actually better, at least for the first chunk of the season without Cade Mays. I have no idea. I think it should be better. You invested in it. You drafted a first-round pick there while also signing a multi-year deal to Cade Mays. He's not going to be playing for the first couple of weeks of the season. So, like, I'll say neutral there. The weapons, the quarterback, yeah, mostly just neutral. I'm not actually sure they're better than they were a year ago. It's just a matter of, hey, this schedule's a joke, and they're going to win enough games because they're going to beat up on bad teams. Do you think they're better than they were a year ago when I lay it out that way, Kyle? Because I'm starting to really, like, look at them under a magnifying glass and start to be thinking to myself, like, maybe they're a lot similar to last year's team, more so than I realized, at least until Branch comes back and until, maybe Kirby comes back and Cade Mays comes back. Then we can talk about a big upgrade. But until then, I'm just not sure that they are better.
I mean, I think they are, when you lay out the different position groups, because we've talked about that.
It's goofy.
I mean, as far as all the position groups ranked out, like how many of them are for sure better? Run through those again.
I would say the defense. I gave the defense, so I graded it -3 to +3, 0 being it's a total neutral. I gave the defensive line a +2, and that was the best upgrade possible, or that was the best upgrade of any position group. I gave the weapon. I didn't know whether to give the weapons a 1 or quarterback a 1. I wanted to give one of them a 1 and one of them a 0, and I just gave it to the weapons. Just because you're getting more Gibbs.
Well, yeah, I think just natural progression as well.
Yeah, J-Mo should continue to get better.
100%.
I think
Laporta hopefully will be back, whereas he missed a lot of last season.
Yeah, and then I think Goff just kind of gets better with age and experience, but I
and
still gave him
with
a 0
with
nonetheless.
offensive line, yeah.
Yeah, so defensive line was the biggest upgrade.
So you're saying Goff is a
question.
0, not a 1?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think it was fair to just give him a 1 for no reason. But I gave
on what scale?
A -3 to +3.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a different scale.
The 1 and 0 scale?
Yeah.
Why would I be giving Jared Goff a 1 or 0 scale?
I was doing a joke, because you're like, I'm debating between a 1 and a 0 for Goff. It's just a joke.
I feel like if you do the 1-0 scale with quarterbacks, that basically just means, like, do you think you can win a Super Bowl with this guy?
Yeah, that's actually good.
And
is that something we should do?
There's an increasing amount of 1s in the NFL. Like, there's more 1s than ever, I would say.
To me, that scale just is what we've always talked about. Like, oh, yeah, there's good quarterbacks, or there's the elite ones. That's probably just that to me, right?
Really? Because I would say differently, because like the real 1-0 scale is a little different, and typically that we're not going to get into detail what that means.
That's why I was just trying to make a joke.
But I feel like if you were going to do that with quarterbacks, it would simply be like, do you think you can win a Super Bowl with them? Because you have to lower it a little bit,
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
it's
now
not
that
just
Darnold
the elite
has, now that
ones.
but also it's all just based on the context of the team too.
Yeah, like Baker's a 1.
Can the quarterback lead you to the Super Bowl is the better way to do it. Because Sam Darnold, I don't think, can lead you can drag you to win the Super Bowl, you know?
But now we're talking about not a 1-0 scale, you know?
Yeah.
Like now we're talking about like a 1 to 2 scale.
Let's get back to the Lions.
Okay. Do you think they're actually better? Because I'm starting to think they're the exact same team.
Just based off of like which ones are for sure better and which ones are for sure worse. Okay. And we have to put some sort of weight to all of it.
That's what I did with this measuring thing. I gave the offensive line a 0. I gave the weapons a 1. I gave the quarterback a 0. I gave the corner room a 0. I gave the safeties a -3. The linebackers a -1. And the defensive line a +2, which ends up being a wash, which is where I came to the conclusion.
But do you put more weight into other groups? Like, I would assume...
Like, you're saying the offensive line should have more weight than the linebackers.
Right? I would assume it should. It affects more than the linebackers probably do. I think the defensive line being a lot better, like, really plays. Like, I think that is probably the most important thing defensively. Mm-hmm. Secondary, I guess. Probably defensive line, though, for this team.
No matter how you look at it, though, it ends up coming out a wash, which, like, then I start to ask myself, like, I'm not actually sure this team is better than they were last year, at least heading into the year with the injuries that they have, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Cade Mays. I'm not actually sure they're better than they were at the end of last season. Right now, it's just the fact that their schedule is such a layup. If Cade Mays was healthy, I would be saying, without a doubt, they're a better team than they were last year. But he's not.
He's not.
I don't think they're actually that much better, which is the conclusion I'm coming to, which I don't love. I don't love that I feel that way.
Yeah, because that team missed the playoffs and had a lot of, and I think even worse than them missing the playoffs was just the fact that they didn't beat any of the good teams on their schedule. And they lost to every good team.
There's not a lot of good teams that this Lions team has to play this upcoming season. Right, but that doesn't make you feel
very good.
No.
Like, if they just did that again, they just beat all the teams that they're clearly are worse than them, and then the teams that are better, they lost to all of them. Yeah, they still might sneak into the playoffs because of how bad the schedule is, but certainly we would not feel good about it.
But let's like not lose sight that this is a good. It's not like this is a bad team. Like this NFL Top 100 that's been coming out all summer long, the Lions have more players on it than any other team. Gibbs is 9, Amon-Ra's 22. I know it's like an arbitrary list; it's mostly meaningless.
Yeah, but it's by the players. I mean, it's appears.
There's 6 guys on it. Gibbs 9, Amon-Ra 22, Hutch 30, which, by the way, I kind of think if I had to pick one of these guys to like skyrocket up the list, it would be Hutchinson. Goff 33, Sewell 37, and Jack Campbell 88. Like the fact that they have 6 guys that were voted top 100 guys, like the Rams don't have that many. The Eagles don't have that many. Brian Branch isn't even included in that.
Yeah.
They have the talent. It's just a matter of like, can they put it all together? And maybe most importantly, what are you getting from the coordinators? What are you getting from the coaching staff this year? What are you getting from year 2 of Calvin Shepard? What's the difference going to be between John Morton / Dan Campbell and Drew Petzing? What is that going to unlock? I think that's perhaps the most important part of this upcoming season.
Yeah, I think so.
What you're getting from those guys. Because, like, think about Aaron Glenn's end of his tenure. There was a couple games under his resume where it was like, yeah, that guy's getting a job. Specifically the Minnesota game, Week 18. You knew it right away. It was like, yeah, that for sure just got him a job. Sam Darnold looked like a pumpkin yet again in the red zone. Couldn't do anything. Last year, I think there were a couple games that got Calvin Shepard interviews, like how close he was to getting the Miami job. The Ravens game, they bottled up Lamar Jackson. The Legion of Whom game, that was incredible. There was also a lot of games where it was like, what the hell's going on in the secondary right now? So what is it going to be more of this upcoming season? Is it going to be more of, they're playing with the bad secondary, though. What are you going to do? Or is it going to be more of, I can't believe the way that they schemed around this and still found a way to win? Because, like, that alone, what you're getting more of from that coach, Calvin Shepard, could dictate 3 wins this season in my mind. It's really not that far-fetched to think that he's one of the most important people heading into this season. I don't think it's possible for Drew Petzing to be as bad as John Morton was, to the point where Dan Campbell's got to push him out of the way and take over play calling.
But it could be closer to Morton than Ben Johnson.
Yeah, it could be. But if all of a sudden Drew Petzing's thriving and it's like, oh, this is great, you don't have to worry about the offense anymore. You know they're putting up massive amount of points on basically everybody. Number one of the top scoring offenses in the NFL. Like, if that's the case, Dan Campbell can just do his Dan Campbell stuff. And that's when you get back to winning all your primetime games and winning on short weeks and defying the odds and going on win streaks and not losing back-to-back games. Like, that's where Dan Campbell's at his best. I think that 3-headed monster between Campbell, Petzing, and Shepard is perhaps the 3 most important people on the team all year. That's probably far-fetched.
It's got to be. Probably, though, right? Outside of just the health of certain players. Like Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph playing, I think obviously matter a ton.
I think Blake Miller, Cade Mays and Blake Miller matter a ton. But like the coaching, I think going into this season, year 6 of Dan Campbell, maybe matters more than anything else. What are you going to get from your coaches? Because if the roster's more of the same, but the schedule's a lot easier, okay, how are the coaches going to be better to make sure that you don't walk into the playoffs with 10 fraudulent wins and then get smacked by a real Super Bowl contender?
Yeah. Which, still getting back to the playoffs would be nice, but I think we all have bigger aspirations than that.
I certainly do. 9-8-9.
Especially if they go 13-4 like you got.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Then Carolina Panthers are going to beat us, though, apparently.
It's going to be too confusing. You're not going to be able to know who's who. All the jerseys look the same.
You know, I saw somebody, by the way, speaking of them jerseys, they just replaced all the black with more silver, like not gray, like real silver. They looked so sweet. It was the same exact jerseys. They just took out the black and made it silver. It looked
better?
awesome. It looked awesome.
Didn't look like the Carolina Panthers?
It didn't look like Carolina. It looked like the Lions.
Be sick. 989-837-6125. Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. More on Jalen Duren and the saga that won't stop when we come back. 11 o'clock hour brought to you by Yetter Insurance. Life happens fast, and at Yetter Insurance Group, they're here to make sure you're covered every step of the way. Locally owned and trusted in Midland for decades, they're not going to treat you like another policy number. They're going to treat you like a family. From home and auto to life and business insurance, Yetter is the right coverage for every stage of life. Their team makes insurance simple with expert advice and real people you can actually talk to. That's Yetter Insurance Group. We'll be there when you need us since 1940.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid. by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. 11 o'clock hour brought to you by Yetter Insurance. Let's go over Jalen Duren here for a second, because there's been some conflicting reports about Jalen Duren in the last week or so. And this has been a saga that has just never really ended. It's happened all summer. There's been stretches where there's like play-by-play updates every hour. There's been like week stretches where nothing has really happened, and now we're kind of in this like...
We're getting close to an end, you know?
Maybe.
Oh, I mean, it has to come to an end at some point.
Yeah, season starts in October, and so you got like really another month and a half to get this done. Over the last week, there's been reports that these two sides are in some real disagreements. Some bridges have potentially been burned. Broken relationships. And then we got a report yesterday from Jake Fisher. It's like, hey, 4 years, $160 million. It's something that's being talked about right now. It's like, all right, then why isn't that just signed? Like, do you regret the Pistons playing as hard as they have here?
I've certainly thought about this.
Because we praised him. We thought Trajan Langdon has done an incredible job at playing hardball.
He still has.
He still has. And I like, don't get me wrong, it crossed my mind yesterday when we were coming up with this topic of like, should he have just eased off a little bit and given Jalen Duren a little bit more of what he wanted, and this could all be in the past? And then I decided, no, I'm glad he's continuing to play hardball, because I still think that it's more likely than not that Jalen Duren just signs a long-term contract with the Pistons. Although I will say, like, where I was at 95% certainty Jalen Duren would be back, now I'm probably at 70 to 75.
I think Langdon playing I know that Langdon playing hardball with the Duren situation, though, it always ended with him still being on the Pistons.
Correct.
He never was taking this route so that they could sign and trade him. And if that does end up happening, then they didn't win. You know, now obviously it might have gotten to a point where it feels like the only outcome. I certainly don't hope that that's what's going to happen. But I just think that the hardball stuff, yes, he still has played it right, but he hasn't won yet. It hasn't worked yet. And that's the issue why I can't sit here and be like, maybe he does regret it a little bit, because maybe he does, because it hasn't worked yet. And that's the scary part. I still would rather, obviously the question of if he signs the 4-year 160 right now or you sign and trade him. We would rather him take the 4-year 160.
Yeah,
right?
which
it's not that bad of a deal. Yeah, maybe it's a little more than we thought that it was going to be just because of how long this has lasted. Like, who else is paying him that kind of thing?
Yeah, because Walker Kessler was 32? 33?
Yeah.
So we thought it was going to be more so around that. And also when everybody ran out of money, we were like, holy crap, he's going to be able to sign
no one
for
else
like
can
30.
offer him. So why would he not just sign for like 30 a year?
But you got to give Duren a little bit of credit, too, for being like, no, not doing it. Now they're
it
playing
happens.
a game of chicken.
But once again, if this 4-year for 160 is actually on the table, why would we not have gotten a Shams notification about it today that it has been signed? Because
I don't think that this is real.
I don't think it's actually happening.
I do think he actually ends up with the Pistons, though. Like I still will say
It's
way
still
more likely than not that he's going,
yes.
because he's not going to sign the qualifying offer. If he does, he seriously made a terrible decision. The qualifying offer is what, $9.7 million for this season, when you could be making near 40. And it's also like, by the way, Jalen Duren, it's not like suddenly people are going to have $40 million to just hand you next season too. And you think you're making more than $40 million?
And you're just missing out on a year of being paid. Like, if $40 million even was there for you next year, you're signing that deal a year later. You could just sign it right now and get it now.
And you don't want to get hurt, so then you're like playing a little bit differently, but then you're not playing as well, because then you're like going to be an unrestricted free agent and nobody's going to want to pay you then. It's like, it just makes sense for Jalen Duren to sign a contract of sorts, whether that's via a sign and trade or whether that's with the Pistons. But now it's just like two parties staring at each other waiting. They're playing chicken in the middle of the road. Who's going to budge first?
Yeah. And I do
so
think...
So far, it has been the Pistons who have not moved an inch.
Duren really hasn't either, though.
That's true. Like, both teams are... Yeah, you're right. Both parties have just stared at each other and not moved a single inch, which has really made it hard to get a read on what's happening.
And they have to in a month. You know, like, the qualifying offer has to be either accepted or passed on by October 1st.
Oof.
So that is, and once that passes, something has to happen by then. And so that's just the part that I get that there still is technically, yes, another month for something to happen. At this point, if Duren does actually want to be with the Pistons and there is some sort of reasonable offer on the table, there's zero reason why it hasn't been signed yet. And that's why I think maybe this has gotten to a point where Duren is refusing to go back to the Pistons. He does actually want to go somewhere else, and he is willing to play this thing out until the Pistons get down to the last day and they're forced to sign and trade him elsewhere.
I will also stand 10 toes deep that Jalen Duren's agent is a terrible agent because of what he did with his only other NBA client this past year, Tari Eason, where there was like a $100 million offer on the table throughout the year, and then he signed for like $80 million this offseason.
He signed 5 for 80, and I think he definitely had a 5 for 100. I think it was more than that, though. I think it was a 5 for like 110, maybe.
Just peed away $20 million.
Literally was offered it, yeah.
That sucks. Like that's a 0 out of 10 agent move. Lost your guy $20 million. Maybe you should take some notes, Jalen Duren, that like his only other client got screwed, and now you're kind of in the most awkward situation.
But now he's like in too
the
deep,
NBA,
right?
Oh, he's for sure in too deep for this. I'm just like side note for Jalen Duren in the future, like probably just get a different agent.
Well,
man.
yeah, for sure.
This guy's not good at getting
the most
you money.
likely outcome here is, I don't know if he's on the Pistons, he signed and traded or what, is that Duren has a new agent in a year.
Yeah.
That's the most likely outcome.
Like, forget the Pistons, man. You need a new agent.
Yeah.
Like, think about
You
what
better
an
guy in
agent's
your
job
circle,
is.
man.
It is to get you as much money as possible. Who's the lone guy who still hasn't gotten his money? Jalen Duren.
And he was an All-NBA player.
Yeah. This shouldn't have been as hard as it was. Yet, terrible playoffs mixed with stubborn agent, mixed with a guy who overvalues himself.
Yeah.
We've gotten, this is the biggest, not biggest, but it's the most complex situation that we have in the NBA right now in terms of contracts and what's going to happen.
Yeah, and something like
There's
this
so
hasn't
much
happened in a
uncertainty.
while either. Not counting any James Harden situation.
Right. That's like its own unique clause.
A guy that is coming off of his rookie deal that hit All-NBA
that the
in
team
the final
doesn't
year
really
of
want to pay.
They just always get the max that they can get. They always do. Now, obviously, a lot of the rules of the new CBA, of course, come into this, but still, even in that fact, every team is just willing to pay whatever it takes to keep that guy.
Yeah.
All-NBA player in his rookie contract, but the playoff run obviously left a bad stain, not just on Pistons fans, but clearly on the front office too.
Yeah. And guess what? Don't blame him. Because not only did that guy shrink in the playoffs, he disappeared. Kind of like Dylan Dingler. Ayo. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mid. Show, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. 11 o'clock hour is brought to you by Yiter Insurance. Before we hit the news when we come back, should let you know that you can see us live on YouTube and you can see the difference at Midland Eye Care, where your vision is their focus, offering comprehensive eye exam, glasses, contacts, and advanced eye health services. Friendly, knowledgeable staff and a wide selection of stylish frames for every face and budget. Book your appointment today and start seeing clear tomorrow at Midland Eye Care.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
always be coming without no money, girl. Come on.
Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is 11:30, which means it's time to hit the news. Kyle Sandel, take it away.
The Mitts Morning Catch.
Now, I look forward to the news at 11:30 every day, Kyle. I really do.
You do?
I do.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just look forward to it.
Okay. That's good to know. Hopefully everyone else does. I'll tell you what's going on. In about 100 minutes, Troy Melton will take the mound for the Tigers.
Holy
to take
crap.
on Freddie Peralta. It's game 3, Tigers-Rays. I don't know, Ben. It looks like dark skies out here right now. Is it going to rain in this game in Detroit? I haven't checked the radar of southeast Michigan today.
Let's check Apple Weather, the most reliable weather
let's
app
check
that
that,
exists
it
on
looks
the
like we're getting
planet.
some rain this afternoon here in Midland, but as far as Detroit goes,
no, we should be good. Sunny.
nice. All right, there you go. Tigers 110. Big time game today. I don't know what's the take going to be if they win today. I mean, it's a good,
I
like
don't
it's a
know, man.
series win against the best team in the American League.
I think it just totally
Right?
depends on does Cleveland win again today too? Because if they do, it changes
Yeah.
absolutely nothing.
Yeah, we need Cleveland to stop winning. They play at 4:07, right? Against against the Angels out in California. They're trying to sweep them, so that's pretty unfortunate. We're not doing scoreboard watching, but I'm at least telling you the other important games.
Sure,
so like
sure.
maybe that's kind of what we're doing here. But yeah, the other important games as far as games that do affect the Tigers. Now, the Astros do because they're no longer in first place in the AL West. Or no, they retook first place yesterday because the Rangers lost again. Rangers are playing the White Sox. That's kind of a win-win, just one of those teams losing for the Tigers. Astros play the Yankees. Everyone else, who cares? Twins, Orioles. Too many teams to be looking at.
You know, you just asked me like 30 seconds ago, what would be my takeaway if the Tigers won this series? My takeaway would be, I can't pick Tampa to win the world, make it out of the AL. No chance.
That's a good one. The Tigers have just beat up on them.
They already swept them this season at their place, which is a joke of a stadium.
And then would have won the series here. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it means I'm not picking Tampa to do anything in the playoffs.
A non-Tigers takeaway. Randomly, too, today we have a battle of former Tigers lefties. Cubs Diamondbacks, Matt Boyd versus Eduardo Rodriguez.
Oh.
All right. Kind of fun
sure.
there. Like, two guys that are having really good years, too. So that's pretty cool. Speaking of that game, by the way, do you keep up with, like, when John Boy posts the clips of the guys just beefing during the games? Do you see those, like, the lip-reading
sometimes.
stuff?
I'm not, like,
yesterday, there was
invested.
such a good one yesterday between Merrill Kelly, the pitcher for the Diamondbacks, and the entire Diamondbacks dugout. And Quentin Berry, who is the third base coach of the Chicago Cubs.
Quentin Berry, the
former
Tiger?
Yes, for the stolen base king guy. He's the third base coach.
Sweet.
So fast. So he was relaying signs or relaying pitches from the third base coach spot to the batters, to his own batters during the game, right in front of the Diamondbacks dugout because he's sitting in front of their home dugout. And Merrill Kelly and the Diamondbacks had a huge issue with this.
Wait, is that not allowed?
It is allowed. I mean, it's just like a guy being at second base and looking at what the grip is and then relaying it home, you know?
Yeah.
It's just kind of Bush League. You know, it's kind of cheap. And the Diamondbacks had a huge issue with this. They were just, the dugouts were barking back and forth to each other. No one got ejected or anything, but the Cubs are just killing Merrill Kelly, hitting homers off them left and right. Bunch of hard hit balls, base hits, doubles, all of that. Kelly gets pulled from the game. Typically, when a pitcher gets pulled from the game, they go and either, they don't sit in the dugout at all. They go down in the clubhouse, or they just sit in the dugout kind of to themselves or whatever. Merrill Kelly gets up on the thing, on the railing, and just stares at Quentin Berry the entire time. Just stares at him.
Dude.
And he said, Merrill Kelly after the game essentially said, hey, look, I think it's fine when players do it. It's part of the game. It's been happening in baseball for years. I just think it's pretty cheap coming from a coach. It shouldn't come from a coach.
I have an alternative perspective. Put the ball in your freaking glove before you throw a pitch and get your grips down. If you're just showing the grip behind your back, I'm sorry, you're asking for your pitch to be stolen. I don't understand how pitchers still do this. Oh, you're tipping pitches? You know what's a great way to not do that? Put the ball in your glove. I assume that's what was happening here,
yeah,
right?
I don't know like exactly how it was going down, but clearly like Barry was finding an advantage somehow. Yeah.
Hey, Merrill Kelly, don't tip your pitches. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Just don't tip your pitches.
Good point. A guy who was tipping his pitches in his 2 starts ago, Jackson Jobe, clearly wasn't last night.
No,
because he was on the mound for the Tigers. Pretty good outing for him as well. And the over on strikeouts hit, man. There you go. But the big news is that Max Clark, homer, big time home run for Max Clark, who after the game, before even acknowledging like, oh, I hit a home run, did the whole like, I made a huge mistake out in center field. I made a big error out there. Like, I could have cost my team the game. Like, I can't be doing that.
I love this kid.
Yeah,
I love
just
him.
took full accountability. Nice job for Max Clark. And it was nice for him to hit a homer because he had been in a little bit of a, not slump, he was still getting on base. Just the base hits weren't really coming like they were at the beginning of the first couple series for him.
Yeah.
So nice for him to go deep. First home run at Comerica Park last night for Spark.
I love this kid, man. I think he got this bad rap early on, like in training camp. Oh, this kid's too much about the flash. He's too much in the spotlight. This kid doesn't care about the spotlight at all. And like, or it's not like he cares about it, but he's comfortable in it. He's very comfortable in it. The fact that before the home run, like they can even ask him about the home run, he's taking accountability. He mentions Jobe. He's like, yeah, like he should have had a scoreless outing. That's my fault. It can't happen. Took a weird bounce. It's not an excuse. It's like, man, this guy knows what it's like to be in the spotlight, and it does not rattle him at all. I love it.
All right, I got something fun for you here. Actually, let's do this first. It's 2 Michigan State-related things. One of them involved Michigan. We got a little bit of an insight on what people are placing on the over-unders for college football this season from a specific sports book.
I think I know what
I
you're
will
about
not
to say.
say the sports book because they don't sponsor us. I'm not going to say it. But one of the sports book, they just revealed like what teams are betting the overs. The 5 most bet college football season overs for the season. This is not in any order, but these are the 5. Oklahoma over 8.5. Colorado over 4.5, of course. Nebraska over 5.5. UCLA over 6.5. Maybe that's a little Bill Simmons influence there. And finally, the big one, Michigan State over 4.5 is one of the 5 most bet overs in all of college football.
That makes you want to
these
zag,
people want to
doesn't
lose
it?
money?
Yeah, Mr. Zag, that makes you want to zag, doesn't it?
No, I'm not going to do it, but...
Hedge your happiness, man. If they go under,
that.
you make some money, and if they go over, then congratulations. You had an awesome season with 5 and 7.
I don't like betting college football.
I'll make a parlay on the weekends, but nothing serious.
Yeah, I'm just not a college football bettor. But what do you think, though? People are betting Michigan State over 4.5. Why?
They see the Pat Fitzgerald hype videos, probably, which like, get me
They kind of make
animated.
me want to do it, too, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I like the videos, but looking at their schedule...
Nope. Not going to do it.
I do not see a path to 5 wins. There's 2 maybe Big Ten games, and then there's the 2 easy gimme ones. That's only 4 wins.
Gimme.
They have to upset someone, essentially, to get it. Like a major upset. Here's the fun thing I have for you, though.
Okay.
March Madness men's basketball Instagram page.
It's going to be 124 teams now? 128?
No. They've been doing just in the offseason fun stuff, they're doing a 21st century bracket 3v3 challenge.
I saw this.
So, yesterday, we're in the Sweet 16, and we've gotten to the matchup. Michigan versus Michigan State, 21st century 3v3. Who wins this, Ben? Team Michigan, Trey Burke, Yaxel Lenderberg, and Mo Wagner.
It's a lot of buckets.
It's a lot of buckets.
A lot of scoring.
A lot of scoring with a good defensive wing in there.
And someone who can dominate the block.
Mo Wagner dominate the block?
Yeah.
Not really. It wasn't really like his thing. Luka Garza was dominating the block.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, the Michigan State team, Mateen Cleaves, Cassius Winston, and Draymond Green. Which team wins?
Is there enough scoring there?
As far as the polling goes, Michigan won the voting 52% to 48%. Super close.
So close.
Yaxel Lenderberg, by the way, posted this.
Of course he did.
Like, he's in the comments doing the belt, the Michael Floyd, like the...
The BTA?
Yeah.
I think he just claimed that Selly. I think that's his now.
He did.
I'm going with the Michigan. I think they have more
also,
scoring.
but March Madness collab with UMich basketball on this post and not MSU. So clearly the votes are skewed to Michigan.
Sure.
Classic. Let's rig it.
Yeah, let's rig it. Yep. Totally.
Who wins, though? I actually do kind of think Michigan wins, though.
Yeah, I think there's not enough scoring for the MSU guys.
And Cleaves and Cassius are both small guards. Obviously, Burke is a small guard here, but one of them has to guard Lenderberg.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. Draymond's the best player here, though.
And Mo Wagner never lost to Michigan State.
But he never lost to MSU, Mo Wagner?
Mm-mm.
I don't buy that. I don't believe that.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe that for a second.
Okay.
Cassius Winston beat Michigan in his last year. Just want to say that.
Also true.
Both have national champions, too, so that's kind of a fun note there. We'll do one more thing here in the news. You actually already mentioned it, so it's not that big of a deal. Jahmyr Gibbs, named number 9 in the best player in the NFL by the players. Did Bijan Robinson get 10 or 8? We said that they were going to be neck and neck next to each other.
We only know 9 and 10.
But who was 10?
Not Bijan.
Oh, so they have him higher.
Yeah.
Pat Surtain, number 10, Gibbs, number 9, and they actually just dropped Micah Parsons as number 8.
Oh, you mean the guy who doesn't
play? Bijan Robinson is better than Micah Parsons.
Wait, Micah Parsons, the guy who's got an above IQ who doesn't play?
He does have an above IQ. Gary makes a good point. Michigan wins. Draymond ejected 2 minutes into the contest.
He's fighting Yaxel.
Yeah, that's true.
Gibbs 9, Amon-Ra 22, Hutch 30, Goff 33, Sewell 37, Jack Campbell 88. Who is the biggest? Who's got the most opportunity to jump up the list by the time we do this next year?
I think Hutch is a good pick too. I'll go with Sewell. If the Lions offense has a huge bounce back, Sewell will be top 10.
What if I told you this? Sewell was the top offensive lineman. It just happened to be 37.
Hasn't he been much higher than this before, though?
He was 18 last year, but the highest offensive lineman checked in at 37 this year, which was Sewell. That's why I'm like,
okay, so maybe
know.
not. Maybe the offensive lineman just can't get that high, which is kind of fair.
I think it's Hutch.
Okay, I like it. I like the pick.
Amon-Ra feels like he's just going to be at 22, 20 for a while. Gibbs, not a lot of room to improve. I think Goff could maybe one day climb a little higher, but yeah. I think it's pretty clearly Hutch. He could become oh wow. Where was Will Anderson this year?
He had to have been in the teens, right? like in the 20 to 11 range.
I'm checking.
Will Anderson was number 12.
Yeah, like I think Hutch could take that sort of leap.
Yeah, that's true, and that's a huge leap. I mean, Will Anderson went up 34 spots, so he could do that. Also, real quickly, for the fantasy people that have already done their drafts that saw the Jamar Chase injury scare yesterday, he's fine. It looked scary, but he's fine. I believe they did a classic 1800s like ceremonial tribute dance for him, so that's what must have got him back to full health.
We've avoided a true disaster injury so far. Like there's been some guys that have gotten hurt, but no fantasy guys that have like, oh, this wrecked the season
True.
yet. Hopefully they'll stay
it's
away.
Coming, sadly.
989-837-6125. We've got our 3 traditions to close out every show when we come back here on The Myth.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Myth.
All right, we got 3 traditions to close out every show. The first of which is a tradition in which we try to make a little bit of money. I like to call this tradition our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Off to a pretty good start this week, Kyle. Trying to rebound for August in general. Where are we at?
Yeah, not bad. 2-0 start. And more importantly, it was on 2+ wagers, too. So you hit on Monday with plus 110, the Yurfie, plus 100 yesterday with Jackson Jobe. Means you're 2.1 units up on the week. You're 14.26 units down overall.
Okay.
And you're now just 1.2 units down in August. You've come almost all the way back in August. And you've got a chance to go up in August with your bet today.
Yeah, I'm going for 3 straight days of a win, 3 straight days of plus odds bet. I'm going with Max Clark. Ride the hot hand today. 2 hits plus runs plus RBI. Plus 120 is the value there. Look, hit a home run less than 12 hours ago. Why not ride the hot hand heading into a day game? Freddie Peralta's on the mound today for Tampa, who's just had like a terrible month. 7.17 ERA in August, and he struggled against righties. No. He struggled against lefties. He is a right-handed pitcher throughout the course of the entire season.
Yeah,
kind
he's
of a
just
fall-off from him.
Been bad since the Rays traded for him.
Yeah. So I will ride the hot hand that is Max Clark, and hopefully he can come through today with a hit, a run, 2 runs, 2 hits, a home run would get it done, 1 hit, and an RBI, all of which would qualify for this bet. So I'm going with Max Clark riding the hot hand today. What do you think?
This feels like tactical fade area, but I'm not gonna. That'd be messed up. Not to my boy Spark. So I'm going to tail.
Okay, that is our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right, next tradition. It's our game of the day.
Game of the day.
All right, we're going to baseball. Let's go to baseball.
No preseason football, huh?
No preseason football
tomorrow,
on.
I think.
Let's see. Preseason football schedule. Starts tomorrow.
4
Vegas
games tomorrow. Jeez.
What's the good one?
Vegas, San Fran, I think, because on ESPN.
More Mendoza.
Cleveland, New England, but we already know the quarterback. I mean, the lone quarterback battle we don't know is Vegas one,
Does
right?
that mean we get to watch just Shador Sanders for a whole half?
True.
In Cleveland? Yeah, maybe.
Lions are one of 2 games on Saturday. All the other games are Friday. Why is there so many games Friday night? That's wild.
Who do they even play on Saturday?
The Colts,
Oh.
who just had another Josh Downs with down with an injury today, too. So Downs and Pierce both injured for them.
Kind of having a season from hell already? Sneaky candidate for season from hell?
Maybe.
We'll see. Game of the day. Best thing we got on TV today. A lot of day games today. Just because it's a getaway day for a lot of teams. You started a series on Monday. Give me this Houston versus New York battle that's going on ESPN and Prime Video tonight. Peter Lambert versus Elmer Rodriguez. 2 playoff teams in the American League. I'll go with
Over Dodgers Braves?
No, you're right. It's Dodgers Braves. Good pivot. MLB Network 7:15.
And they're about to come play the Tigers.
Yeah.
Sneak preview.
Roki Sasaki's on the mound. Yeah. I'm going with the Dodgers and the Braves. That's the best game we got on TV today. So that is our game of the day.
Game of the day.
I got 2 words for you. Steve Nash and Chris Paul. Must-see TV.
Michigan fans, they have nothing to worry about.
They won in the 3v3. So they got nothing to worry about.
Nice. We got
Yeah, nice.
We got one last thing to get to, and that is guessing what Colin Cowherd is going to open up his show with.
WNBA lead yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So nobody got a point.
Nobody got a point.
Just had to confirm that. Okay. It's my turn to go first today. 70-68 is the score. I went 2 days in a row with getting a point. No points yesterday. Ben's been at 68 for a minute. He took the lead on me, and it's just been kind of stuck here at 68. So, it's okay, though. 68 deserves some love.
Yeah.
You know?
I know what you mean.
It deserves some love. Okay, my turn to go first today.
There's nothing going on.
I was about to say, I don't even have anything. Today is for sure he's going to pick an NFL team to talk about. Who's it going to be? Does he talk about Dolly Parton?
Probably not.
Dallas Cowboys could be because of Dolly Parton, maybe. That could be something.
It'd be a crazy poll.
The Bus brothers are joining the new Padres ownership group. Oh, that's pretty interesting. I didn't know all of that. Oh, man. I got to pick a team here, and when in doubt, you know who to pick. Give me Caleb Williams and the Bears. Why not? I don't know.
I'm just going to, kind of
I thought my Niners pick was good yesterday.
That's kind of what I'm going to do right now.
Stuff with their owners.
I'm just going to kind of, vibes. Give me the Bills. I want to know what Colin has to say about the Bills.
The Bills.
Yeah. I want to know what Colin has to say about the Bills.
You know what? I like that pick.
Thanks, man.
That's a good pick because I also want to hear what he has to say about that.
Yeah.
He's talked about the Bears too much. The 49ers, even the Seahawks and the Rams.
Yeah, what are you going to say about the Bills?
What about even the Chiefs he talked about? Let's hear about the Bills.
New coach. Joe Brady.
He's probably just going to talk about the Giants. He'll talk about them sometimes too.
Yeah, Harbaugh. He does like his Harbaughs. He loves his Harbaughs, actually. Anyway, that's going to do it for us today. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow, maybe talking about a Tigers series win, or maybe talking about how, they're back in a coma and haven't moved in a while. That is TBD. But don't miss out on it either way. You guys can get notified when we go live at 9 a.m. if you subscribe on the YouTube channel. Just search 100.9 The Mitt. Subscribe, hit the notification button. That way you don't forget when we go live at 9 a.m. We've also got Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Instagram and TikTok is where you get the exclusive video content. Facebook is where you can stay up to date on all the latest stats, stories, opinions. We'll ask some good questions, take some polls on there as well. Basically, if you like Michigan sports, any of the teams.
Or you hate all of them.
You're going to have fun enjoying the Facebook page. So give us a follow there. 32K in counting. Instagram, TikTok as well, like I said. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Appreciate everybody for listening today.
We'll hear you on the Huge Show today.
Doing Huge Show from 3 to 6, so should be fun. Come stop by Dow Diamond as well at some point this week. Ben Bosscher Show live in the Mitt. We will talk to you guys mañana.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9.